have you communicated with a social media user who goes by the name ThATuMBRELLAgUY?
I've had several phone calls with a person who goes by the name ThATuMBRELLAgUY. Don't actually know his real name.
Unfortunately, every time I make a call, it becomes content for them idiot.
Help! I've been tossed overboard.
I'll have to bill you extra for my time.
Welcome to the show. You look incredible, like a dessert that owns a yacht.
That's exactly the vibe I was going for. You know, sweet but slightly out of your tax bracket.
Mission accomplished. How does one even shop for a suit when your head is...
Gold on my neck, gold on my hand, purple with the stripes, that's the walk of a man. Sidewalk shining, city lights humming, every step I take, they know a boss is.
Blazing the whip, gotta vanquish the needs. My kingdom for some poppy seeds, yo.
Is that a poppy seed? You realize I'm your P.O., right? Straight to booking!
Police or zombie problems? Your tortoise won't stop breakdancing?
Try blue tape.
The miracle of our age. Yeah!
Hey, we love that umbrella guy. All right. Thank you.
I'm calling from Los Angeles, and I'm having a little problem under the name ThATuMBRELLAgUY. I sent him my phone number at least 20 times in the chat and told him to call me. He ignored me. I'm a man. I filed the report. If you guys could take a look at it and give me a call back, I would love to hear what you guys can do to help us. We really need to kind of stop this guy at least until Monday. I told him to call me.
You know what? I talked to your mayor.
Flexing screenshots, fake stats, big talk. Gucci on a credit card, living in the TikTok. VPN hero, keyboard De Niro. Whole team zeros, but you swear you some pharaoh. You so air in a jar, flip fast, get rich. DM full of victims, you just roll and switch. You ain't built an empire. You fishing in the kiddie pool, playing with retirements, bragging like you really cool. Wow. Now you fumbled that bag. Heavy bass hit every time that you brag. Screens got receipts and the memo hit tag. That umbrella guy came swinging with the drag. You ran that scam, thought you never get tracked. Now your face looped up in the meme black. Whole timeline laughing while you fall collapse. That umbrella guy just wrecked your ass. You an investment coach, but your math don't math. Turn trust in the dust, turn cash in the ass. You was laughing at the loss, every life that you drain. Now a clip on repeat shows your whole fate chain. He pulled dots, dropped dates, sync them with the live stream. Chat say yikes, every comment the crime scene. Pause, zoom, play. Now the mask on crooked, you in shadow in the dark. You a clown caught looking. 56K, now you fumbled that bag. Heavy bass hit every time that you brag. Screens got receipts and the memo hit tag. That umbrella guy came swinging with the drag. You ran that scam, thought you never get tracked. Now your face looped up in the meme on blast. Whole timeline laughing while you fall collapse. That umbrella guy just wrecked your ass. bitch, that's not me. But the voice, same laugh, same cheek, white tee. Thought the net forgets, now the net remembers. Turn the fraud into folklore, pin you like a member. 56, now you fumbled that bag. Heavy bass hit every time that you brag. Screens got receipts and the memo hit tag. That umbrella guy can't swing it, but the drag. You ran that scam, thought you never get tracked. Now your face looped up in the meme all blast. Whole timeline laughing while you fall collapse. That umbrella guy just wrecked your ass.
What's up, folks? How's it going today? Man, listen to that voice coming back. Sexy. I love it. It's still a little crackly, but it is definitely getting there. I like it. Man, hope everybody's doing okay today. I just got in, like literally just got in here. I didn't know if I was going to get in and actually be able to do a stream or not. It's it kind of made a mess of it. So if you let people know that we are live, I put it up at the last, well, I tagged it at the last minute. I put it up within an hour, but, you know, instead of 2. And I tagged it at the last moment, which is not a good plan for a Sunday stream. I hope, though, and a holiday stream at that. You know, still, I love to have streams with folks. Like, again, I like on holidays, any type of holiday, that people will have somewhere to go, even if you don't have somewhere to go, because you always have somewhere to go here, you know, and I appreciate you folks too. But yeah, happy Father's Day. Also happy with that too, you know, fathers, anybody really, you know, parents taking care of their kids. I think all of you deserve shout outs. Good parents out there, man, in this day and age, especially any day and age, but especially this day and age, I feel like the parents, I mean, I think they really deserve some kudos here, you know, because there are so many distractions. There are so many things that lead folks astray. There's just so much ugly in the world. So it's nice to have a day to shout out some of those parents out there. But man, gosh, today there is so much stupid to cover. There's a 30-page document that popped up a few days ago that I think is very good, that we have not looked at. There's some amazing stuff that is actually that has been posted that we'll see how much time we have to go over. And on top of that, we have one other wonderful thing too. In fact, I'm wondering if something's going to come of this. You know, I just get this feeling, you know, sometimes when these people are planning to do something, you get a feeling about it, right? And I get a feeling when you have this discussion, just the way that John Cook acted, I'm going to laugh myself out if John ends up going and trying to hang these 18-month-old banners. You had Allison actually note this. I thought this was funny because, like I said, this conversation, it also exposes something really interesting. So you see them talking about the banners here, right? The banners, again, 18 months ago. And the real interesting thing in this conversation after it's been posted here is John Cook getting involved. You know, John Cook, yes, I almost put it up the other day, but my staple gun's broken. I got to buy a new one. It's going up with a couple of others. So they are so desperate right now for a gotcha for Travis that I really think they're going to dip back to an 18-month thing. That really is a giant middle finger, by the way, to backers, because these backers, they didn't post the banners that they sold to them, not just not in a timely fashion, but they're posting them as hopefully they'll be able to bother Travis some more. It's so bad and pathetic. On top of that, remember the excuse. So John Cook kept saying that the reason he was calling someone maggot Remember, maggot. It wasn't talking to Travis. He was talking about his dog. That's been the excuse, right? Well, weirdly enough, I guess the dog is filming things now. Because either that or we're talking about Travis, one or the other, you know. But remember, they said that that was not about Travis. That was about the dog, right? For some reason, he calls his dog Maggot, which is the dumbest thing ever. But even dumber is this idea here. He just throws that away. He's like, it's going to go up with I'm going to buy a new one. It's going up with a couple others so Maggot can film it. Now, again, either the dog has, it has some kind of interest in photography, or we are talking about a lovely gotcha. Now, what's funny is this kind of goes sideways for John Cook. You know, it does. It goes sideways to the point by the end of it, he's apologizing for the conversation, which I thought was kind of funny. Look, as they go forward, you know, as they go forward with it, God, look at these people. My God, man. And it's got no disrespect to Miyagi, who has never said a bad word about us, nor have we spoken badly about bullshit. They have said plenty over time. Oh, plenty. They act like they're out there supporting Miyagi shit. Uh-huh. Yeah, you know, they as they noted there, I'm sure once it goes up, it'll be shared among everybody by the trash across the street who's wallowing in his own stench. Now, again, the way that this, again, they could not put the banners up for 18 months, but now maybe they can put it up if they think that it would own Travis, you know? And look, they getting complaints. There's some complaining. I put the post up here, you know? Yeah, Miyagi, she's like, I'm not the same person before. And look, he's like, oh, you know, I meant no disrespect to her. It's being put up for the humor it was made in. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. It's funny. These people, it's like they speed run. Again, remember, they had access to a lot of money at one time. A lot. And they speed run that right into the ground, where they've made it very clear that anybody that backs these folks over a timeline, they will turn on you. I mean, they have made that very clear. And the only time that they'll follow through on something, again, they couldn't be bothered to do all of that for over a year. They couldn't be bothered to put up banners when people ask. In fact, the last time I heard banners brought up, they were bringing them up because they were trying to flex on Only Me, saying Only Me was the problem. And Only Me was the only reason they didn't put them up. Now, of course, that's been months and months and months ago. So, you know, what do I know with that? But isn't it weird? Isn't that interesting? Also, so I've got this feeling that we're going to see, again, the banners that are now a year and a half old. I think when they pop up, it is going to be hilarious. Oh, God. If they debut those tonight, I'm going to laugh myself into another fit. I may lose my voice again. Oh, by the way, would you all like an interesting announcement for today? Would you all like a really cool announcement for tonight? Yeah, maybe I should wait. I don't know. I'll let you decide. Would you like something? You can either find out about it now or you can find out about it in 3 hours. You know, that's probably, well, 3.5 hours probably. Well, you know, obviously there's a show that comes on after this show, right? You know, their main eventing show. And tonight, I hear there's going to be some special guests on there. Huh. I wonder who those special guests could be. Could me. I like that. Yes. After we finish this up, we may take a little lap over to spend an hour talking about some fun stuff as well. So that might be a fun night. Might enjoy that, and there might be someone else too. We'll have to see. So that might be fun. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Now, on top of this wonderful stuff here, of course, we've had the discussion going on repeatedly about Samantha and Ashley. And it's interesting that even when half the dipshits are away, the other half of the dipshits, they don't stop. Here's some wonderful Marla quotes. Why quote Marla? Because Marla's an idiot. And Marla is I love how Marla speaks about this like she knows. Like she's there. And like these people are somehow in her life. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing that the other night, Lynette Preston actually told her to shut up about this stuff because she couldn't even get the names right. But now she knows about everything. Isn't it amazing? I mean, she got put in her place by Preston, and she has no dignity. So of course she just when Preston was like, "You're not my friend," before she wallowed in that. And man, it's so funny. It is absolutely funny. Let me show you this, by the way. Give me 1 second. I'm going to roll back to it, put it on my timeline so I don't lose it here. Check this out. The other night, it's funny. The reason I point this out. There we are. She's gone from, again, this is just a couple of days ago. Preston got so annoyed with her because, again, she couldn't get the names of these folks, right? So she told her, essentially, not to talk about them. But, again, Marla, she's got to come off like she's a scholar on this shit. I mean, again, no dignity whatsoever. It amazes me. These people are like, "We don't like you. You're not my friend." And Marla's like, "I am your friend. I haven't talked to you in over a year." "No, we've been talking regularly." What the shit? It's so sad in its own way. Marla, it is so sad. It is. You have to be in a pretty sad place, mentally, to come back to that over and over again. I'd feel even worse for her if she wasn't just a detestable human being. But you can see her, again, talking about this. Let's lock this one back in. I mean, she got put in her place. It was so funny. By the way, hey, thanks. So we've gotten up to 1,200 people. That's pretty good. Like I said, I at the last minute, I was like, yeah, maybe we will be live for today. I hate missing a holiday, I hate missing it because even though, like metrical, why most people don't do live streams on those days is because in the metrics, it hits you. You can do late streams, but in the day, no, but I don't like that idea. I like the idea that in the day, not everybody, sometimes holidays remind us that, they make people feel lonely. And I like people to have somewhere to go. So, well, it's a nice standard. And it would be for me too. If I'm having an off time, like if I've had something go on, it feels good for me too to be able to come on here and goof off and talk to all you folks. So, like I said, I do appreciate it. It goes both ways, but a lot of people, they forget that. They just look at metrics, man, and metrics are they're not the only thing that matter. They do matter sometimes, but they don't matter all the time. Last night was funny, by the way. If you missed last night, Just Jay was on. Jay, it was a pretty funny stream. So I had a pretty good time there. I thought he was pretty on yesterday. He was actually more weirdly, he was more controlled, I think, at most times than me. Some people were like, at the beginning, they were like, where's Jay's babysitter? Oh, like, man, maybe he didn't need a babysitter as much as I did. But I mean, look at this, just stupid there, Like, look at the way she talks about the ants at first. And then she's like, oh, Samantha and Ashley both said that Samantha talked Ashley into joining in with Jeremy Hales going after MP. Whoa, what? Whoa, what? Oh, my God. She goes out and she talks about her experiences, and these people negate her experiences as, oh no, she was just throwing in with Jeremy Hales. Because remember the new narrative crafting that Michelle has been putting out, and these people are latching on to is, well, it was all just jealousy about HG, which is so insulting, by the way. And it's also a sign of terrible parenting. Because again, I am not saying that's true in any way, but let's just say that had been true. Okay. Is that how you handle that problem? Instead of being, affirming that, and again, I'm not saying that's true in any way. I do not believe that in any way. I think we've been shown plenty of reasons why. But again, for the sake of argument, if that were the truth, is that how a good parent would handle that situation? If there was a jealousy issue, would the correct way to do that be to go and to threaten the person instead of making it better or right? Would it be better, or would it be much worse to go and to gaslight them and to tell them that you're going to sue them and all this other crazy bullshit? Because I don't see that making things better. Just me. I'm just saying, I'm just saying there. But, and again, like I said, I don't believe that in any way. But even with their own narratives, it makes them look like crap. It's like, oh, you were jealous about that. So you just instead you gaslit your kid, and who looks. Here's the thing. If I were a neutral observer and I watched both of these people out there, who would I believe? Would I believe Lynette Preston, or would I believe Ashley? That's the thing. Because Lynette, man, these people seem unhinged sometimes, and they are. They do some pretty unhinged shit, which is fun to cover, but it would not be fun to live. Samantha loves her mother in spite of what her mother did. How would she know about how she felt about any? Again, Marla, some outsider that no one wants in their life. There are people that are like pilot fish. Pilot fish, that latches on and they have a symbiotic relationship to another animal. There are people that are like that. And then there are people that are like ticks, and nobody wants a fucking tick on them. Nothing does. They're bloodsuckers. They're parasites. Now, Marla, are you a pilot fish or are you a parasite? Because, listening to other people talk about you, I don't see them being like, yeah, that's that person right there. That's the one I really like. I never see anybody saying, yeah, oh, that Marla. Every now and then she gets maybe like somebody in the chat will shout her out. Every now and then in their chats. But otherwise, good Lord, man. She's like, oh, she loved her mother. Going back to her, she took the kids around her mother in spite of. I mean, all this stuff. It's so nuts with that. I also love them talking about, I like, oh God, does anybody find J Hip to be funny? Not me. Oh my God. Oh Lord. Oh no, Jay. I know Jay's going to cry himself to sleep tonight. He's going to be very upset. He's going to be finding out that Marla Huge does not like him. I know that was his target audience. He told me once. He was like, back in the 80s when I was growing up down the street from Marla Huge, all I wanted her to do was love me. I remember it. I remember it was like yesterday. Maybe it was yesterday. Oh, Lord. These people, man. Oh, no. J Hip, he will be shattered that they don't love him. I mean, what a bunch of idiots. They act like Jay, of all people, is going to get upset about them not liking him. I love it, though. I love the fact that, like I said, they really overestimate their value to people, I mean, but yeah, oh no, Jeremy, I also love when these people talk about YouTube success. Her talking about YouTube success is, it's like a flea pretending it's a planet. They don't know. They have no idea what goes into consideration for success, algorithm. They have no idea what it's like. I would really love to watch some of them try, and many of them have. The best successes they have are falling apart real time, and they have no chance of ever doing anything else. So for them to talk about anyone's channel and success is just hilarious. I think that's pretty funny when they talk about like Hale's channel. They also are admitting that they all did damage to it. They want to take their bow, but it's funny. Some people can actually they can actually fix problems over time. These people, they can't fix themselves. Now, along with all of this lovely stuff, before we get into our main event topics, I wanted to show you this too. Their new answer for Travis, okay, how they're going to get Travis. They keep talking about how there's a statute on the books, 810.09. That's the one they kept bringing up. 810.09. They're like, that's the one that's going to get Travis. They're going to get him somehow in their delusional little minds. They think that they're going to have police go onto private property and somehow take Travis off of it. Now, I pulled up the statute because I thought it would be fun to look over it and to show you not only how stupid these people are, but how wrong they are. So 810.09 is about trespass on property other than structure or conveyance. Okay. Trespass. First of all, the idea of trespass is not done by your nosy fucking neighbors across the street. They're not the ones who decide whether or not someone's trespassing, right off the bat. And which is really funny because they're not talking about him being on their property. Oh no, they're talking about him being on Jeremy Hale's property. Somehow, again, they think that this statute here, it's going to work for them. Now you look in this first sentence, it destroys this idea. Look at it here. So 1A, a person who without, this is a key here, without being authorized, licensed, or invited. So Travis, he's invited onto the property. They're like, well, he has to be a worker. No, he fucking doesn't. I can let anybody on my property I damn well choose. And the government doesn't get to say, they get to say nothing about it. It's mine. It doesn't belong to the government. It belongs to me. And for morons that own nothing to talk about ownership too, makes it, they even take it to a better level because they have no idea how any of this stuff works. Idiots that tell me that the front end, the curtilage of property, it's going to be trespassing as well. You know, all these ideas that they have that never work out. This is why. This is why they never work out. And I imagine that they're calling the police, telling them that under this statute, that somehow that Travis can be arrested. Again, how? Oh, I have no idea. Because when you look through the whole damn thing, it has nothing to do with that. Again, this is about trespass. Trespass is defined legally. Well, let's look up. Let's define it legally, okay? Just to note this, trespass legal definition. Okay. Let's go with that. Trespass is the unauthorized, intentional intrusion onto another person's property. It would be it would be the unauthorized. Again, if I invite someone onto my property, if I say they can be there, then that's the end all be all to it. It is not trespass. So they've spent many hours, the same idiots that keep telling people about copyright. They are the dumbest human beings on the planet. They're like, yeah, oh, Megan Fox, they got her by the balls. That's their word, by the ball. I'm like, well, that's probably a shocker for her, since she probably doesn't know she has those, but it's okay. They're like, oh, she played some of my material. Yep, she fair used your garbage shit. And she thoroughly debunked it. She debunked that ass. She spelunked that. Oh, God. If you missed last night, you really should watch it. It was pretty funny. There were some interesting things that came up through that show. Spelunking that ass came up last night. And if you're like, that sounds horrible. Yeah, it sounded horrible last night too. But yes, yeah. It was a very good live stream. Very disturbing too. But they think, even though they have a fair use warning, which cracks me up, they have a fair use warning, and they think that people cannot play snippets, portions of their show or show transcripts or anything else because they think that's somehow going to violate copyright. It's going to be really funny to show off the fact that this dumbass channel has a fair use statement at the beginning and some of Megan Fox's content on it to boot. You know, they're like, you can't use any of my content, but I use some of your content. It's like, wait a minute. You know, and for the record, as I said, my only problems, like the only thing I've ever asked to for somebody to correct, there were scammers that will pick up things like if you do a product review, of course they're not allowed, and somebody like if they take a whole live stream or something and just upload the whole damn live stream, you know, without permission, that's a problem. I've asked somebody one time to take something like that down because they put up, so because they were too lazy to cut through and, you know, make a point. So they just put it up and they put no title change or anything. Now we have people who archive things, and that's okay. Archive channels. I personally don't care if people cover whatever. If I don't like somebody, I just don't pay attention to them, or I laugh at them, one or the other. It just depends on, I monetize them or I don't pay attention to it, one or the other. But regardless of whether you like or dislike them, that does not negate fair use. So good luck with that there. I mean, these idiots, they are probably the stupidest people on the planet. These are the same people that are telling you again that Travis is somehow going to get in trouble for a trespassing ordinance on Jeremy Hale's property. Again, not against Michelle Preston and John Cook. No. Against somehow with Jeremy Hale's. Because they said he wasn't an employee or Jeremy Hale said it. So therefore, he has no right to be. Like I said, you can say whoever on your property has a right to be there. It's the dumbest freaking thing ever. I mean, these people. Now, we had a really good filing come up in Fed 2. It was an answer to all of the stupid that came up with paint chips. You know, paint chips put in, God, he's put in so many dumb things. It's hard to keep up with how much dumb, but within the last week, there was item 212 that was put in. Let me pull this up here for you. Now, this is an answer to, it's the response in opposition to Paint Chips' motion to require plaintiff and counsel to show cause while sanctions, discipline, and other relief should not issue for repeated false factual representations about the challenged video introduction. Jeez, that's a lot of words. This is a pretty good file. I liked it. You know, essentially, Paint Chips has been banging on the gong, trying anything he can, of course, you know, and you don't answer everything, but you have to answer some things. And this, again, this is the joy of Fed 2. Remember, Fed 2 now has 2 players in it instead of 10. It has been leveled down to 2 players, 2 different items, and we will see what is stated about that or not. You know, again, the paint chip stuff has been moving. We've had some decisions on that, but we don't know where everything's going to go with the paint chips mess. And of course, we have Preston that is still in, but her portion is frozen because of bankruptcy. So we have nothing on that. That pretty much is, it exists. That's why I put her into thumbnails that have to do with this. Although, depending on our time, I would like to do some videoage about her as well. I think that might be fun times too. But this, like I said, I thought it was a pretty good response, you know? And so let's go over it. So again, Hale's by and through his undersigned counsel respectfully submits this response in opposition to Paint Chips's, there's the title, okay? That's the entire time. I'm not going through that whole title again. The sanctions motion represents an improper attempt to weaponize the court's sanctioning authority to resolve disputed factual and legal issues that belong in the pending motion to dismiss. Defendant seeks to punish plaintiff and counsel for characterizing digitally manipulated video content as depicting plaintiff in sexually explicit conduct. This characterization is reasonable. It's accurate, and it's fully supported by the evidence, including defendant's own admissions. Yes, you know what's funny about this? This has been the real problem for all these folks. When they say it's not this thing, they call it this thing. Like Leslie, for example, who says that she never did anything with that stuff. She characterized the video as revenge porn in her own filings. I mean, think about that. She's like, they said I created it. No, that's not what anyone said. They said you distributed it. And yeah, your characterization is bad. Well, Paint Chips has made similar assessments as well, which is, it's not good for it. You know, again, if you're going to call something sexual, if you're going to say it is not that thing, but at the same time, publicly and freaking in filings, you call it those things, that just doesn't work out very well. You know, no, it's not this thing that I keep calling it. Okay, that's one hell of an argument, right? So that's what you're saying. You're saying, you know, it's fully evidenced. Like we have the video. You can look at it. Plus, well, these people keep calling it that. So the motion should be denied in its entirety for 4 independent reasons. First, the motion is procedurally defective. Defendant provided only hours for counsel to respond to his meet and confer demand before filing this motion less than 24 hours later. Wow, that's the same thing that Leslie has been pulling. You notice they're getting brazen about that. You have requirements, again, meet and confer requirements. Remember we were talking about Leslie throwing out an email and then saying, well, I'm demanding such and such date, and you have to agree to that or else with this meet and confer, or I'm going to file something about you. And it's like, wait a minute. You're filing the stuff on the exact same day you're demanding the meet and confer. So, that's obviously not in good faith. You cannot call that good faith. There is no effort to meet and confer. This is the same thing. Hey, I'm telling you about it, but in less than a day, I'm already filing. That's a problem, So, defendant explicitly disclaims filing under Rule 11C2 to avoid the mandatory 21-day safe harbor, instead requesting that the court initiate sanctions sua sponte. This represents transparent attempt to circumvent procedural protections designed to allow parties to withdraw or correct challenge materials without sanctions. The motion was filed prematurely during active motion practice and improperly seeks to resolve disputed factual and legal issues through sanctions rather than through the pending motion to dismiss count 2. Now, second, plaintiff's characterization, it's reasonable and accurate. Defendant's own declaration, defendant's own declarations admit the video contains edited, satirical, manipulated or otherwise altered material. Defendant does not deny that the manipulated video shows plaintiff's likeness in sexual scenarios and that it was designed to create a false visual representation of plaintiff engaged in sexual conduct. Describing such manipulated imagery as depicting plaintiff in sexual conduct is accurate under common usage, consistent with Florida's sexual cyber harassment statute, and reflects a reasonable interpretation in a developing area of law involving deepfakes and digitally manipulated sexual imagery. Like I said, even outside of the filings for this, if you think about any of the people that are whining that they are harassed because of words, talking about their own actions. Could you imagine, again, if somebody had created a video of them involved in things like this? They would have a real problem with it. They would definitely call that harassment. They would threaten to sue. But it's okay because it was done to Jeremy Hales and it was done to Megan Fox. It's okay in their mind because of that. But it wouldn't be okay normally. Ray was the perfect example of that. I liked Ray's response because Ray noted very well even the idea of saying, what if this happened to somebody that you cared about? He took that as a threat. And if it's just satirical, if it's just haha funny, then there can't be a threat, right? So, I mean, they show you over and over again how they themselves, they view all of this stuff. They view it as, again, they view it as a problem if done to somebody around them. So I like that. I like the fact, and again, it either is a problem or it isn't. You can't have it both ways. So if they want to say that totally it's not a problem, if somebody did that to them, again, they'd all be throwing fits. That I would be throwing a fit too, because that would be the grossest notion ever. I don't want to even think about it. I'd be very mad about it too. I'd be like, no, you sick bastards. What have you done? What have you done? Third, sanctions are not warranted under any applicable standard. It's like, how in the world do you get to sanctions? Plaintiff's characterization has evidentiary support, was made after reasonable inquiry, and reflects good faith advocacy in support of a colorable legal claim. The demanding standard for sanctions under Rule 1128 USC 1927, the court's inherent authority and professional conduct rules are not satisfied. Rule 11 requires only reasonable inquiry and evidentiary support, not ultimate correctness. Section 1927 requires bad faith and multiplication of proceedings, neither of which, oh my God, it's the mop of the poly mop. We got half of the poly mop right there. Holy crap. Holy crap. And that's right. Self-snitching. That's exactly right. Well, that's what these people do. On a long enough timeline, they do that. You know, they think that they'll get to people when they talk about stuff. So, of course, they tell on themselves. And it's funny to watch, but at the same time, you're like, man, do they ever really think about what they say or what they do? You know, and again, it was really funny because Leslie was defining what would be harassment. You know, in one of her statements, she said that saying somebody has AIDS, for example, that would be harassing. That would be actionable, right? And Paint Chips was doing that, which was really funny. I thought, wow. So even by their own standards, if they admit it, it's just they enjoy it because it's aimed at somebody that they don't like. Like I said, either it is or it isn't, you know. And if it isn't, then they would all be prepared, not only for them, again, to receive that treatment, for people around them to receive that treatment. And of course, they don't like that notion. I don't blame them. I mean, it's nasty what they're doing. You know, it's particularly it's aimed at reputation, but it's also, you notice, it's also the lowest hanging fruit to aim, especially at a woman. You know, because like, oh man, Megan Fox is involved. Well, of course, they have to go for the low hanging fruit because that's who they are, of course, you know. So the multiplication of proceedings, neither of which exist here. Inherent authority is reserved for egregious conduct that cannot be addressed through other mechanisms. Professional conduct violations require knowing false statements, which plaintiff did not make. Fourth, the proper resolution lies on the merits. Whether manipulated sexual imagery depicts a person for purposes of Florida's cyber harassment statute presents both a factual question, what does the video show, and a legal question, what does depict mean under the statute? So there's the questions there. You know, what is the video showing? What do you see in the video? What is the interpretation fairly under it? And what, in the definition of the statute, what does the statute actually mean through that? You know, because you have to be able to look at both of those. And you're asking a question, something that needs to be determined. And again, all of this case law, one of the things that they very well need to remember is that you have this growing concern about these items. And, you know, you have lawmakers that are presently out here, they're making laws that supposedly protect against the victimization of women. If they're going to come in and say that, then it's supposed to be about the victimization about anyone. But, you know, a lot of these laws have been put on because of deep fakes, especially revolving around women. You know, that's why they had all the laws come out, because of all the deep fakes that we saw coming up with actresses. You know, there were a lot of just, essentially they were making, I'm going to call it explicit content on the internet. And yeah, they were selling it and everything else. And, you know, that kind of stuff, when it first came up, you know, there's not just, it's not just an embarrassment element. It's also a marketability element. You know, one of these things, I saw an actress talk about this one time. They said, you know, when you hit a certain plateau of, or a certain rather peak of fame, that everything about you is some kind of marketable asset. And that includes showing off parts of your body. If somebody's out there creating this stuff, you know, not only are you, not only is that a violation for you, but it can take away from marketability. You know, if you wanted to, you know, provide that in something, which is your right, then again, how much money can you make off of that? These people are taking it away, which absolutely, I thought that was a fair assessment, because they weren't just talking about, you know, you had a lot of the conversation about shame and what this does to people, which is an element. But the other element too is, as far as business, you know, people get to decide if they want that kind of stuff out there. And nobody else should be able to decide that for them. And there's no, as they noted here, there's no reasonable use other than, I mean, there was no journalistic reason for making that. And when it got taken down, for putting it back up again and again and again. And you know, the funny thing is, it wasn't taken down because of quote unquote privacy. It was taken down because it is against terms of service. The difference, if you don't understand that, by the way, I can say that something violates my privacy. Like if I flag a video, which I do not, by the way, when these people put up photographs of me and my ex, you notice I didn't take them down, because I don't get into that. I haven't, you know, and I'm not saying other people, they don't have the right to it. It's just a very slippery slope with it, you know, and I did not take those down. They ended up taking down their channels that had it on there. But if I'd wanted to, I could have filed a privacy complaint about it, and I'm sure could have gotten that taken down. The thing is that when you take it down for privacy concerns, it is not a strike. It doesn't hit the channel in any way, shape, or form. It doesn't do damage to the channel. Unless you're talking about metrics, them denying, you know, when they falsely use it, you can make a good argument about that being interference, you know, with your business and costing you money. But that's why the privacy thing is such a slippery slope. You take down a lot of things with that. You know, that's a two-way street. But it isn't the same thing as getting a strike about something. These people actually were stricken for some of this stuff. So anyway, these questions should be resolved through the pending motion to dismiss, not through a sanctions motion filed to pressure plaintiff and counsel during active litigation. Granting sanctions would chill vigorous advocacy and punish counsel for pursuing novel legal theories in developing areas of law. Actually, I think, like, out of anything, again, I actually think that this is something that with the court, you know, if they're going to come back and say, nope, that's okay. Well, that's interesting, because again, you have take it down laws, you have all this stuff that's coming in. And again, what do certain words mean? Certain words like depict, what do they actually entail? So these are going to be, and those answers, you know, they have long lasting ramifications, because if a court comes in and says, oh, no, that's not what that was meant for. Okay. Then everything thereafter, potentially, unless you appeal it, everything thereafter, potentially, I mean, you're essentially stifling new laws. And we'll see what the court thinks about it. Like I said, now this motion is not about correcting false statements to the court. It is about defendants' disagreement with how plaintiff characterized manipulated imagery in support of a statutory claim. That disagreement belongs in merits briefing, not in a sanctions motion that threatens counsel with fees, costs, discipline, and referral for making reasonable characterizations of good faith. The court should deny the motion and allow this case to proceed to adjudication on the merits. Yeah, it's saying, hey, essentially you're trying to work around here, and that workaround, that's trash. That is absolute trash. So, the statement of facts on this: the underlying litigation and challenged video publication. So the operative third amended complaint alleges multiple causes of action stemming from defendant's online publication concerning plaintiff. Count 2 of the third amended complaint alleges that the defendant violated Florida's sexual cyber harassment statute based on a video publication posted in January 2025. The challenged publication is identified as video content posted by the defendant at a publicly accessible Substack URL. And the reason they use the Substack URL too is because it is not only publicly identifiable by face, but they also use plaintiff's name. So it's that double whammy. You can't say, oh, well, people might have seen that face and not known who that person was. Because the problem is you use their name too. And they wanted, the inference in there is that they want them identifiable. And we're not just talking about for the article's use. We're talking about beyond that. Just by video and URL, you would be able to identify the plaintiff. So if you were going to use any item that has been posted, that would be the one I'd go with for sure, because it readily identifies Jeremy Hale's name. It utilizes that video. So just right off the bat, without reading any article or anything else, you would be able, just with the link and the video, even without a title, to know who that person is. Again, even if you don't recognize his face. And if you look up his name because of that URL, you would absolutely be able to figure out who that was, what business is attached to. So it's readily identifiable. So count 2 of the third amended complaint, again, challenge publication identified again through the Substack URL. According to defendant's motion, third amended complaint alleges that defendant posted a video depicting plaintiff as by adding a mustache to the plaintiff's photograph and engaging in the oral with the journalist. This by itself would not be actionable. This by itself would not work. Okay. Like straight up. By itself, could you see that as offensive? Sure. But that would fall under speech you might not like. But with Jeremy Hales being a public figure, he would not be able to use that alone. They just add it in. And the reason they add that in is because they're saying, hey, there was no journalistic effort in doing this. There were many things added together. And the reason I say that would not be actionable, again, we had, I was laughing at Repugnant, from 2L, saying that they sent the police Just Jay, calling her repugnant. Well, in that same lawsuit, there was something just like this, where there were comparisons to Hitler. So that by itself, while you obviously that would be meant to offend you, you get away with that for free speech. But the other stuff, no. I think I hear a raider. What's up, girl? I hear you. I'll let her come down for a second. She's feeling a lot better. What'd you say, baby?
Maybe after you sleep tonight, you tuck me in.
Yes, ma'am. Are you gonna take a nap? Tired? Okay. Well, I'll come back up there in a little bit. You gonna go get you some sleep then? Yeah. Okay. Well, you go get you some sleep. All right. Love you.
Love you. And I did not. My bed with no covers, but for you to take me.
Now, go ahead and put your covers up there, and I'll come and straighten them up, okay? That way you don't get cold while you're laying down, okay?
Okay.
All right. Love you.
Hi, everyone.
Oh, and hi, everyone, too. Yeah. They said hi back. But go get you some sleep, okay, kiddo? All right, love you. Close my door, too, okay? She's feeling a lot better, but she's still, she's on the mend. You know, this weather has been brutal toward everyone out here. Oh, to note, too. So, my ex got out of the hospital. She was actually in the hospital. I noted this. So I thought this would be worth noting. The kids, you know, I had to pick them up, and it was because of a medical emergency. So she ended up being in the hospital for a week. It was pretty rough. It was, you know, out of the blue. The kids were over there. I got an emergency call to come pick them up, you know, which the kids, she didn't go to the hospital that day. She went to the hospital and got checked out. And I'm not going to say for what. It was just, that's their business. But she said they'd be okay to mention this, you know. But she ended up getting checked out. And you know how hospitals are at first. They're like, well, if this problem for you gets any worse, then come back. So the next day, the problem was tenfold worse. So she ended up going to the hospital and got stuck there for an entire week. So it was not over sinuses, that's for damn sure. You know, but anyway, she got out of there. So that's good. It was very bad for a while though. I wondered if that was going to be, you know, how recovery would be with that, I guess would be the right words. You know, but anyway, the girls, like I said, they've been sick too. I've been sick. It's just weather around here for us. It has been awful for the last few months, or for the last few weeks, rather. It's been just terrible. So anyway, the complaint, give me a second. God, I hadn't woke up all the way. I closed it out with the kiddo. She came down here. She can't read it, but I don't want any of them seeing this nasty mess. The complaint further alleges in count 2, the defendant posted a video depicting plaintiff as engaging in a row with a journalist. So the defendant's motion to dismiss and plaintiff's opposition. So defendant files a motion to dismiss the third amended complaint, challenging the sufficiency of count 2 and other claims. So on May 28th, 2026, plaintiff responds, or rather files a response in opposition to that. According to defendant's motion, plaintiff's opposition brief described the challenged video as sexually explicit video depicting Jeremy B. Hales engaging in oral with a journalist. Defendant contends this characterization appeared in multiple locations in the opposition brief and was used to support count 2's statutory theory and to resist dismissal. The motion to dismiss remains pending before this court. So, inadequate meet and confer demands. Now, this again, this deals with by itself, this can make anything you do deficient because, again, you're supposed to show good faith, you know, in your meetings with other people. And like they're noting, hey, this guy again, you know, when he did this, he essentially he messages us, he tells us that I'm going to do this, and within 24 hours, he's already done it. That is not plenty of time to do anything. That is not adequate to meet the demands. So that's their argument for it. So on June 1st, 2026, 3:40 p.m., defendant sends an email to plaintiff's counsel pursuant with regarding an anticipated motion for order to show cause. In the email, defendant demanded the counsel respond by close of business on the 1st. So he sends an email at 3:40 p.m. This is the same shit Leslie pulled, you know? Exact same shit. So they sent out something at 3:40 p.m. and they demand by close of business. Now, close of business is typically 5 o'clock, right? Some people that's close of business is at 4 o'clock, but close of business typically 5 o'clock, right? So you're talking about giving people an hour and a half to not only read, but to reply, and to reply factually. That is not good faith. That is not good faith at all. Knows that. But that's probably the point in it. I would say with some of the things we see these people do, you know, what's terrible is that's not even with a lot of the stuff they do, that's not even egregious behavior, you know, the egregious behavior. I mean, the egregious behavior, I think a court that took itself seriously, they'd look at a lot of this stuff and be like, yeah, that ain't going to work for me. But again, what I know, right? So giving only a few hours to consult with the client, research legal issues, and formulate a response to defendant's demands. Yeah, you know, that's part of it. Now, of course, these people, since they're playing pro se, they play fast and loose with all their garbage. They don't have to do any kind of consultation. They just file ridiculous shit, and the courts usually let them get away with it. But, you know, if you're actually doing this with a lawyer, you can understand you have to have time to confer with someone, not just with the other side, but also with your client to see what they want to do. Even if you know 100% that Jeremy Hales would be like, yeah, screw this crap, you know, less war, less fight, you still got to give him the chance to respond. And Paint Chips, of course, is not doing that. Again, there is no way that sending a letter, I guess it's the same thing that Leslie just pulled, just did it. It's wild. Because they, well, it just shows that they have no intent of conferring about. Again, I'm sure there would be no resolution. But it's in the rules. It's part of what you have to do. So it doesn't matter if you can actually get a resolution. You still have to try for it. So, defendant's email asserted that plaintiff's characterization of the videos as depicting plaintiff and engaging in oral with the journalist constitutes a false statement of material fact made to the court. The email demanded that plaintiff 1, withdraw the statement. 2, file a corrected notice or amended response. 3, withdraw or amend portions of count 2. 4, agree that the court may review the actual media. And 5, oh yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah, let's have the court, especially, you know, it'd be real hard to state that that is not supposed to be a sexual thing that she's doing, especially considering the other parts of it. Were you talking about the bedtime diary and all that? See, they put in things that were supposed to look realistic. You can tell by the blurring effect and more. You can tell exactly what he meant to do with that. So to say that the intentions are not for that to be the old sexual, that's just being a clown, a fucking clown. So the filing of an instant motion on the 2nd, less than 24 hours after sending the meet-and-confer email and without receiving any response from plaintiff's counsel, defendant filed an instant motion for order show cause. Now, defendant's critical admission regarding the video content. Now, defendant's supporting declaration contains critical admissions regarding the nature of the challenge video. Paragraph 15, defendant states, quote, to the extent plaintiff complains about edited, satirical, composite, manipulated, or otherwise altered material, that is not the same thing as an actual video depicting Hales and engaging in oral with a journalist. This statement constitutes an admission that the video contains edited media, composite media, manipulated media, and altered video, and that the video is not actual unmanipulated footage. Defendant does not deny that the manipulated video shows plaintiff's likeness or image in a sexual scenario. That is indeed true, because he's saying it's not the real thing. That's his argument. It's not showing him really in that. That's how I definitely, again, it's up to a court to read and make a determination of what he's saying. But man, that's how I look at it, as an admission just by itself that yes, that is plaintiff's likeness. Of course, there's no denying that that is Hale's likeness. No denying. I don't believe that is one of the arguments, that he's trying to make, that it's not him and, a likeness of him in that. He's trying to argue that essentially it doesn't matter because it's not a real manipulated image. So therefore, with deepfakes, what the fuck do you think a deepfake is? Like all these rules about deep fakes, that's exactly what a deep fake is. They create false imagery. They take the head of somebody, they run it through program, and they showcase, a fake scenario. And laws definitely protect against that. So that is it's an interesting gamut. Now, again, I put no faith in everything I've seen from this court, though. So we will actually see. But that's the problem. Ultimately, it's what the rest of us can understand. And with interpretation of the law, you realize how many potential victims that they could really just screw over with a wrong reading of this, too. You realize how many people could really get it screw up their entire lives for it. Again, the whole point in putting that statute into practice is to protect people against fake material of some sexual nature being out there. Not just there are already rules about real videos. We already had those. That's why you get new rules that have been going into effect. But he doesn't deny, a defendant does not deny that the video was designed to create a false visual representation of plaintiff engaged in sexual conduct. Rather, defendant's quarrel is semantic. He objects to plaintiff's use of the word depicting to describe manipulated imagery that falsely portrays plaintiff in sexual scenarios. A procedural posture of sanctions. It is a day. Like I said, I've been taking enough crap that I'm surprised I can read. But my voice is coming back, which I'm liking. So, defendant explicitly states that this motion is not a party filed Rule 11C2 sanctions motion. Give me a minute. Damn it. Give me a second here. I got pop-ups coming up all over my computer. Give me a minute. Making sure that I pull all those down so I can actually see what the hell I'm doing. All right. There we go. It was starting to freeze up my my stuff. Give me 1 minute. Put that back up there. Sorry about that. I just had 3 or 4 pop-ups, had notification. I'm like, good God. So the procedural posture of the sanctions motion. So defendant, again, explicitly states it's not a party filed Rule 11C2 sanctions motion, does not seek to bypass Rule 11 safe harbor requirements. Instead, defendant requests that the court issue its own order to show cause under and alternatively seeks relief under Defendant seeks following relief. again, we've gone through these. I think it's pretty easy to understand what was demanding through it. He wants an order requiring plaintiff and counsel to show cause, why sanctions shouldn't be an issue, an order requiring plaintiff and counsel to lodge the exact media they contend supports the allegation, and identify specific frames or timestamps, striking or a correction of the challenged statements, an award of costs, etc., etc., the consideration of whether counsel conduct warrants discipline. They're always they're always trying that. They're trying with the judge who said, I don't want to be the sanctioning judge too. There's only ever sanctioned one person, because apparently not being the sanctioning judge means, well, he will go after this one person though. I wonder, again, look at how many times this guy argued with the court recently. I mean, he put in an argument for an argument's argument. It's craziness. A typical court would be like, nah, I ain't having this. You know? And would be like, reel it in or else. And this is the same court that kind of said that. But, so the summary of argument. Sanctions motion should be denied because it's procedurally defective, substantively without merit, represents an improper attempt to resolve disputed factual and legal issues through sanctions rather than through normal merit proceedings. The motion suffers from multiple fatal procedural defects. Defendant provided only hours for counsel to respond to meet-and-confer demand before filing motion, less than 24 hours later. Again, I think that's a good argument by itself. Failing to conduct good faith conferral. I think that's a big one right there. The courts themselves, this court, in Bev 1, had a little bit of fit about that. So, sorry, I was getting a throat lozenge. I'm trying to roll it and get it ready. So you have to excuse me. It takes a second. The damn thing keeps sticking in my freaking mouth. Give me a second. It'll be good to go in just a minute. But even explicitly, they also go through the mandatory safe harbor period, transparent attempt to circumvent procedural protections designed to allow parties to withdraw or correct challenge materials should not be countenanced. That's right. You have the rules for a reason. That's what he's saying there. The motion was filed prematurely during active motion practice. A defendant's motion to dismiss improperly seeks to resolve disputed factual and legal issues that belong in that merits proceeding. That's right. They're saying, hey, you already have a motion that seeks to address these issues. But instead of waiting on that, you file yet another thing that seeks to do that. That's a problem. One sec, I got a drink. Oh, man. You ever get that like tickle in your throat where you're like, oh my God, I'm going to cough. I'm going to cough. It hasn't happening yet, but it's close. There we go. And my water. Substantively, plaintiff's characterization. Whew, God, I got some of these. I got some of these Vapo-Cool cough drops. My God. They're like, ew. They're like chewing on Vicks Vapor Rub. It's horrible in its own way. It works though, but it's horrible. Ooh, it made my eyes water. I hadn't tried one of those. They're like, oh my God, that thing is strong. So substantively, the plaintiff's characterization of the manipulated video is depicting plaintiff in sexual explicit conduct is reasonable or accurate, fully supported by the evidence. Defendant's own declaration admits the video contains edited, satirical, composite, manipulated, or otherwise altered media. The defendant does not deny that the defendant that the manipulated video shows plaintiff's likeness and spectral scenario, that it was designed to create a false visual representation of plaintiff engaged in the sexual. Describing such manipulated imagery as depicting plaintiff in sexual conduct is accurate under common usage and consistent with, again, the Florida's sexual cyber harassment statute. This is a developing area of law involving deepfakes and digitally manipulated sexual imagery. Plaintiff and counsel's interpretation and such imagery falls within the statute's scope represents a reasonable and colorable legal theory. Sanctions are not warranted under any applicable standard. Rule 11 requires only reasonable, again, the same argument that's laid out through here. You know, for him to get sanctions again, it requires bad faith. And it requires the multiplication of proceedings. The mop off of the polymop. Oh, the polyflop. You know what's funny is not only will polyflop never be a thing, but every time I hear the multiplication of proceedings, it will be funny because I will laugh about it not being a thing. That kind of amuses me, you know? Because they tried so hard to make that a thing. They did. They wanted it so bad. I mean, Bruce really wanted that. Poor Bruce. You know? I mean, he was practically begging people to call it the polyflop. And many of these people, they did, by the way. You know? They grabbed onto it. And they were willing, well, you can guess why, but they were willing to try it. I think can you imagine too, if Randy came up with some wackadoodle freaking name for stuff, you know, try to create his own legal jargon. How do you think these people would have reacted? Do you think they would have been like, oh yeah, let's adopt that. That's a great idea. Absolutely not. And they shouldn't have, by the way, because it would have been dumb if he did that. You know? But with BBB, they're like, oh, yeah, that's great. We'll put it on shirts and everything. He's created his brand new term. It's bad when you have that many people trying to do something. They were like, let's get it trending on the Twitters. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. But there's no evidence of bad faith, and plaintiff's characterization appears in core litigation documents rather than generating unnecessary pleadings. The court's inherent authority is reserved for egregious conduct, cannot be addressed through other mechanisms, which is not present here. Professional conduct violations require known false statements. Counsel does not knowingly make a false statement, but rather makes a reasonable characterization in support of colorable legal theory. The proper resolution of any dispute about video's content and legal significance lies in adjudication on the merits of count 2 through the pending motion to dismiss, not through sanctions. That's what it's going through. Whether or not this depicts a person for purposes of Florida's cyber harassment statute presents both, again, factual and legal questions. They should be resolved through normal litigation processes. Granting the motion, again, would chill vigorous advocacy. Heck yeah. I agree with that, So, through this, we can, again, I'm going to break down, instead of reading each of the thorough breakdowns, which, again, they're good, but you get a lot of repetition. So, instead of breaking down each page for going that way, I'm going to instead, I'm just going to give you an overview of how that looks, because you've seen the arguments, you've seen the merits there. Again, it tells you on the procedural grounds, on good faith meet and confer. That's what all of this is about. Again, you had the breakdowns for it on, with improper attempts to circumvent the safe harbor protections, which it noted there. You know, again, there's a lot more to it that notes that, but I don't think you need a breakdown of each one of these. The motion was filed prematurely, again, without genuine attempt at resolution. Again, he filed it within the 24 hours, didn't give any time at all to have that broken down. The motion improperly seeks to resolve disputed factual legal issues through sanctions rather than merit proceedings. Again, instead of letting it continue through adjudication, he tries to decide it in another way, trying to circumvent was there. The plaintiff's characterization of manipulated video is reasonable, accurate, and supported by the evidence, which again you went over. The defendant admits, we saw the way that again he breaks that down. They talk about the four corners, and you can look all of this stuff up on your own, and I would suggest that you do it. Describing manipulated imagery as depicting sexual conduct is accurate under common usage in legal context. Again, if you look at that and the way, I do like a couple of things that were in here, because this is talking about deep fakes and how all of this goes. You know, let's read a couple of items out of this, because I thought this was good in this argument. The word depict means to represent by a picture or to portray. Under this common definition, manipulated imagery that shows plaintiff likeness in a sexual scenario does depict him in that scenario. The term is not limited to literal unmanipulated footage. Deep fakes and manipulated sexual images depict their subject, even though they are not literal recordings of actual events. The cyber harassment statute that's been brought up addresses the harm from non-consensual distribution of sexual imagery. Modern revenge porn laws increasingly recognize that manipulated images cause the same harm as literal footage. The harms from sexually explicit images published on internet websites apply equally, whether the image is a literal photo or manipulated composite. A deep fake or manipulated image showing a person's likeness in sexual conduct causes the same psychological harm and invasion of privacy as unmanipulated photograph. The plaintiff's characterization that the manipulated video depicts plaintiff engaging in sexual conduct is consistent with the statutory language, the statutory's protective purposes, and modern understanding of digital manipulation. So again, they include that in their breakdown, which I think is reasonable to include, and I think is a good item to throw in as well. So plaintiff's characterization supports a colorable legal claim, reflects reasonable interpretation. Again, it talks about the same thing with that. The proper resolutions of merits. Again, they already have a motion to address this, not a motion for sanctions. That's what this is about. Sanctions are not warranted under any applicable standard, which we went through. That Rule 11, sanctions are not warranted because plaintiff's characterization has evidentiary support and was made after reasonable inquiry. Yep. Went over that. Section 1927 sanctions are not warranted because counsel did not act in bad faith or vexatiously multiply proceedings. Again, this talks about all of that. And the court should decline to exercise its inherent authority. You know, they can sanction you for all kinds of stuff, but there's no professional problems. There's no professional conduct violation. So for him to ask for this is ridiculous. It's a ridiculous item. Again, with the conclusion, it notes that all of this, again, it's a developing area. This should be looked at. They think that that again, this is laid out accurately. Again, it's a good argument, I think, especially against something that they threw in there, really trying to do damage. Now, one of the things that I am over now, especially that Lynette Preston has brought them up, there were 3 videos that Lynette wants taken down. You've seen the emails about them. You have seen her bringing them up quite a bit. And it's interesting because they have been here for quite some time. But a lot of people probably haven't seen them now, because, well, give me a second here. A lot of people haven't seen them because it's been a couple of years since. Now, I mentioned that I'm going to go over these, and I was told to do what I want. So I wanted to, typically, like I've said before, I won't always, I don't typically ask to cover something. You don't have to. But with this type of a tale, I think that's okay to do. I think that's something that, I don't want to feel dirty in it. It's already bad enough that that Preston has been throwing around all these just insane statements about Ashley. And again, she's done this for days and days. She even did her first video on YouTube. Her very first live stream that she managed was about attacking Ashley here. And she's made it clear that's what she plans on doing. She plans on attacking her. She plans on, just aiming at her life. And Ashley's like, do it then, bring it. So with all of that noted, I think we should listen to this because I think that, well, she wants these taken down for a reason. Let's check them out, see what's here. I'm going to start playing this one. This is one. There are 3 of these. There is no way in the world we're going to get to all 3 today. But I think that, one, it's a good start. Let's do it. Oh, got to close captions. Yeah, I think that's on. Foreign.
Hello. I don't know how good my signal is out here. I usually do all my TikToks inside, so. God, I am shaking. I'm doing all right. Oh, man. There's been a lot of shit going on. A lot of stuff going on. I'm going to try and clean it up because apparently I cuss a lot. But that's how I express myself. That's the best way I can say it. I mean, I don't believe in bad words. I say the F-bomb a lot. Sorry. My sinuses are insane today. I say the F word a lot because that is how I get my point across. If I was to just, say, oh, this woman is a horrible person and she ruined my life. No, that doesn't do anything justice. That. Good morning.
See,
it doesn't do.
Look, right here, right off the bat, you would think that Lynette would want to leave this alone because you have someone telling you that the statement, this person ruined my life, didn't do what I'm stating adequate justice. It's beyond that. You know, and again, it doesn't get into the detail. I understand that, you know, when you're talking about something, it doesn't give you what truly went on, what transpired. But you would think, you know, this, again, over time, it reached a large audience. It has 42,000 hits on it. Okay. But nobody has been talking about it recently because these, you know, Ashley again moved on. Samantha moved on. They were doing their own thing. Lynette Preston, however, decided not to move on. She's just because she's vindictive. She is vindictive. Cannot stand the idea that somebody exposed her in this manner. So she says that she sent just a reasonable, you know, letter requesting something. Yeah, the or else's, they include or else I will try to use a juvenile proceeding, which is going to be that's ugliness. That's ugliness, period. Again, she made claims about her publicly. What's really funny is these is dirtbags. They're like, oh, nobody brought them up until like apparently the flea cap and the voice that I use there, apparently that really gets to old 2L too. Apparently they're like, I don't sound like that. Like, you kind of do. You kind of do. Flea cap really sounds good with it. It really sounds spot on. But last night, she's like, I don't sound like that. Oh, Lord. Oh, but anyway, they tried to blame this all on anybody but, again, Lynette. They're like, oh, you know, Tug brought him up after. No, actually, Lynette brought him up publicly. And then she started threatening them privately for no reason, for nothing. And after all of that came out, oh, yeah, I brought it up. Because, again, you know, they can advocate for themselves, but they shouldn't have to. They shouldn't have to do that alone. But anyway, let's continue.
What I went through, any kind of justice. And I'm hoping that people from What the Hales page come on here, because
now,
there was a lot of people on there.
They try to use this as stating, oh, it joined up with Jeremy Hale. No. There's the page, that What the Hales page. What they're talking about isn't Jeremy Hale's page. They're talking about the old posting board. The posting board that, interestingly now, shows the names of some of the people that are now owners. And yeah, where it's frozen up. Yeah, that's really interesting. But at that time, you had a lot of argument about, again, Lynette Preston, who she is. You know, we're just like now, they're trying to argue, you know, she's this poor, defenseless mother that blah, blah, blah. And they're saying, hey, if you really want to know who this person is, you need to check this out. I love how this stuff is spun after the fact. They spin on anything but the merits of what's said. And there's, again, you can choose to believe or not believe a person. That is up to you. I have seen enough things that are outside of what is being said. Again, I'm not a listening believer. I believe in evidence, and I think I have seen enough factual evidence supporting things about Lynette Preston and her ever-changing narratives that I feel pretty damn confident in saying, well, what was her quote? She is not a nice person. That's what I think that's fair.
Saying they didn't watch a video because I cussed too much, or
okay,
you know,
don't ever worry about that.
Whatever. I
curse like a sailor.
There were a lot of F-bombs. Well, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry.
I wouldn't be. I would never be sorry.
And that being raised in that environment is what did it. No, being raised in that environment with her turned me into someone completely opposite.
That's good. That's good, actually.
but hoping some of them get on here and ask me some questions, because it's a lot easier to answer questions on here rather than going back and forth on Facebook.
You know, Lynette.
I hate Facebook.
Lynette tried to interfere with these, by the way, right? You know, she actually tried to drop in when she found out that there were streams that were going on. She tried to step in, and she tried to intimidate even back then, which was just something to see. I guess I don't know how you hold on. I can't imagine holding on to something for that long. You know, just letting it stew. Especially if the thing that would, I guess, bother me would be if their relationship. See, Lynette Preston says that their relationship was great. They were kind of bound at the hip and all this stuff, right? If she thinks that in her mind, regardless of the truth or not, if that's how she perceives it, then wouldn't you want to go back to that? Wouldn't you try everything in your power to get back to that place? But no, I mean, we see everything but that. Again, legal threats. I'm curious if she'll send a cease and desist. I'd love to read her cease. I hope because she writes it. I've got to do. If not, it's got to come from somebody like a lawyer. And oh my God, I want to see who they try to put on that. Because again, I mean it. I'll say it very clearly. They come after these folks. We are damn well getting them a lawyer, and we're going to let them run ramshot on these folks because they think that they can shut down anyone that's talking about them. And that just does not work. So let's continue.
It's pointless. Not pointless, but, you know. I don't like going through and reading a crap ton of comments and having to reply to every single one, because every single one has a different point of view or a different question or a different comment. That ignore my chickens. They're being buttheads today.
It's funny though. I think that grounds you a little more as a human being, you know?
Why is she like that? So her mother, Marcia, is, oh Lord. Marcia is very strict. She is massive OCD. And I mean, according to the stories that Lacey or Lynette shared with me, who knows what is true of them. Marcia was also abusive, which I can see it because, you know, she wasn't very nice to me. So, and when I say wasn't nice to me, I mean the fact that she called me fat and told me I couldn't be a ballerina at 10 years old. She said that I was too fat to be a ballerina because my thighs were big. I have thunder thighs, and all of my followers know I have thunder thighs. I have thick thighs. Nothing I can do about that. That is genetics.
What a thing to tell a kid, though.
I can't help that. So, but because I had thick thighs, I couldn't be a ballerina.
I think
and because I had to be,
like when Michelle, I guess my problem with Michelle claiming anything is that she's claimed so many things that are untrue that it's hard for me I mean, how do you believe somebody that, again, she lied? She continues to lie about just simple shit. Like, and she'll change it up. Again, I go back to my interaction with her. You know, we had a conversation / interview where she wanted Lisa in jail. Now, she lied about it. She changed up the lie. She changed up the lie again. Then she admitted to it. Then she came back and lied about it yet again. So when you have that interaction with somebody, and again, it's about a basic thing. It's not even something that, I mean, there's a recording of it. Their lie too is, oh no, I wouldn't call that person. I had a conversation with someone else. Right. Okay, sure. But she not only knows it's a lie, but she lies about basic stuff. Again, what's the point in lying about that? You're already caught doing it. You know, all these people already know you sold them out. Why lie about it? Well, it's because she just lies about everything. And like I said, to me, that's craziness, you know? And I don't want to I can't take her word on anything, you know? But could it be true? Yeah. And I mean, what you're talking about there, I wonder when she talks about abuse, it's interesting because she talked about John. And when she talked to me, again, it's in the clip that I put up. She said that he was not physically, even though she had made some pretty awful claims about him in the past. This time he wasn't a physical abuser. He's an emotional abuser. So, like I said, I have a problem believing anything she says. It changes all the time. So you never know. But I think other people around there, God, I can imagine, you know, our environments do make us, that doesn't mean we can't change. I always hate making an environmental argument sometimes because, like with Ashley here, if you couldn't change from your environment, then she would be a carbon copy of this person. And I don't believe that. So, but yeah, I mean, I can believe, again, Ashley has been she's been pretty upfront and direct with like you ask her something, she just answers it, you know? Like this stuff hasn't been changing up over time or anything else. There's been this consistency. And when she came out and wanted to, I mean, it was very matter of fact. And she talked about the reason she did it too. She did it so she could move forward in her life. So anyway, let's continue.
But I couldn't be a ballerina. And that is what Marsha told me at 10 years old.
I sucks as a kid, by the way.
Who is Lynette's mother. That's the only thing that I can think of is that she learned from that. So Lynette learned how to be a mom through another abusive mother. And she didn't break the cycle.
Yeah, you have to break the cycles.
That's the best answer I have for that. I mean, thank you. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm just gonna wait. I commented on What the Hales page, so that's an awesome name. I legit got this app as a joke when it was still Musically. I was like, I'm just gonna get it and I'm gonna post some dumb stuff, and then here I am, freaking.
I think that's all of us.
What? 9? No. Yeah. About 9 years later. Yeesh. But yeah. Thank you. Hey, you're not going back up to the coop. You need to be outside. Ma'am.
I like that we get stuff
What are
like
you
that.
flipping out about?
Reminds me of like with my kids.
She's legit flipping out.
Like we always have interruptions.
Oh, far from famous. Good grief. No. I don't think I could handle being a famous person. My mind does not have the capacity for that. And my anxiety.
The reason they're pauses is because this was live streamed up.
It's going.
Just you answering questions as people come in.
How about yourself?
Like I said, there were 3 parts of it.
Fun. Sitting outside next to my chickens. They're being noisy butts today. One of them, she's like flipping out. Oh, probably because I took her eggs this morning. Your eggs aren't in the coop. Sorry.
You know, something else.
Them,
something else I've
and I
noticed.
eated them.
The antis know that, like, this subject is getting them blowback.
Do I think anything will happen to her? Unfortunately, no.
No.
I really don't. And everybody's been asking why I don't turn her in and why I don't go after her and all this other stuff. For me, it is about keeping my kids safe and keeping my kids from being exposed to her psychoticness. So me personally, not only do I not have the money for that because I have kids. Anyone who has kids knows you don't have fucking money. Sorry. You don't have freaking money.
Well, most people are not trying to get themselves involved in litigation either. You know, you hope to
literally all our
God they'll
money
leave you
goes to
alone.
food and kids. But Thor, stop picking on the babies. You're so mean.
It's funny.
Good grief. But I don't want to put my kids through all of that. And do I feel absolutely horrible? And does my heart hurt for Harley Grace? Yes, it absolutely does. When she told me that she was getting a baby, a brand new, newborn baby, I was speechless. I was flabbergasted. I didn't know what to say other than, should you really be doing that? And I asked her, I was like, you can't take care of a baby. What do you think you're doing? I was like, you don't have a job. You're on disability. John's on disability. How are you going to take care of this baby?
See, the same questions other people ask.
She was like, oh, well, we'll get money from such and such, and after we adopt her, we'll get her put on food stamps and WIC. And I'm like, okay, yeah, WIC lasts up until what? They're 5, I think, is what it is. I don't know how it is in Florida. But well, she claims she's disabled. She can't work. I'm sorry, but if you're walking around, hello, B, if you're walking around your property and you're building all of these things and you're taking care of all of these turtles.
Well, look at that.
You know, physically.
Isn't that interesting? Same thing. Other people that are around her, they're like, look, again, I personally, I hate being put in a situation where I'm talking about, because, you know, I loathe government, loathe them, you know. I hate being put in a situation where I'm talking about how like people, you know, gaming any kind of system. I don't like being put in that situation where I'm talking about it. But here, you're talking about a person that they work as far as flea market is concerned. They can go do that as quote unquote voluntary work. You know, they can work on the weekends, but they can't hold a job. They can hawk stuff. They can be online all the time. They can do all this stuff, but they cannot have a job. They can take part in building up tanks and, you know, supposedly managing issues with the animals. They can be part of projects and all this other shit, but they cannot. If it's about them, they can do it, but otherwise they can't. And again, like I said, I don't really care about your status in what kind of benefits you have. It really makes me angry, though, knowing so many people out there, they fight and are rejected for this. And now, I mean, you see this laid out right in front of you. And these people, they spend their entire day, like John spends his days running around, he's weed eating and shit. I mean, my God, man. If you can do all of that stuff, but you can't work, what the crap, man? You know? I mean, these folks, again, they can stand at a jury counter and they can do all that, but they can't say, welcome to Walmart or, you know, or whatever, you know, pull up a chair, sit there. There are plenty of people that they make their livings doing that and doing other things. I also don't like the idea with a kid. One of the things that propelled me forward and made me motivate in my life were my kids. Look, I went and made sure I had a professional job. Now, on top of that, I do the YouTube stuff, you know. Had the comics, so anything that furthers them that would make their lives better. You know, that they shouldn't know struggle. Like, you know, when I was young, we struggled. My mom worked hard, you know. I had to give her all the kudos in the world. We may have not had, but I didn't understand that. And I never want my kids, though, to feel like they don't have. I want them to, you know, I want them to have something they can aspire to be more. I don't want to have my, like, if you need WIC or something, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But that's not something for you to aspire to. That's a temporary solution as you move forward and you make your kids' lives better, right? I mean, that's how I look at it anyway.
Doing manual labor, then you are okay enough to sit behind a desk.
Yep.
And work. Or, I don't know, sit behind a register and work. So, I mean, the fact that she says she's disabled and she can't do anything is part of her, oh, woe is me, I need help. And that's what people don't understand. Hey, Rick. It's okay, Heather. Right. Like, you can work. She can work. She can find things to do to earn money, to take care of the things that she needs. She just does not want to, because she likes being the victim. She likes playing the victim. She is very well versed in playing the victim. The, oh, woe is me. What is he even? Boyfriend, husband, ex-husband, like.
That's actually a good question. What is he?
She says they're not together.
Yep.
And she
and that
claimed
he's a monster.
That she had to move from her old property where she had just built a brand new, beautiful house.
See, here's another discussion
Yet
about this house. These are the reasons that Lynette wants this down. Because you have somebody that's close to her that is talking about all these things that currently she's recycling, but into new stories. You know, the house thing is a different story now. The stuff with everything from kid to everything. I mean, it's all new stories. So, of course, she wants this to go away.
We had to move away from there, to get away from John, yet he's living on the same property as her. But he's so abusive. I mean, the dude is fucking psycho. So.
Wow. That statement, I would really love.
Their relationship is so toxic.
I would love some more on that. Because listen to what she did. Just look at that. Like, wow. Look at that.
He's living on the same property as
what she says here. And again, remember, you got all these people that talk about things over, talking about, you know, abuse of this and abuse of that, and how they're out there standing up to abusers and shit. And yet you have all of these claims, including Lynette talking about him. Either Lynette is a liar and none of this is true, or he's a monster. But I mean, through it, they're just like, ignore anybody that said this. Ignore that multiple people that have been around there have said this. I mean, they hold these people up. But again, what do I expect from people that hold up a fucking like some people that have been in prison for 4 years that created, again, the same type of digital imagery that they're being sued over now, but they did it to someone else before. I mean, look at the people they hold aloft and they're like, these are the good guys. So, of course, I mean, when the mask didn't fall off, the mask fell off, got trampled on the ground, and none of these people care. All the words about how they advocate for this or that, it's all meaningless. It means nothing.
But he's so abusive. I mean, the dude is fucking psycho. So their relationship is so toxic that I legit ran. I ran away from there.
That's interesting.
Because I was not about to have my son around that, fighting all the time. Not gonna happen. I had, let's see, what was that? 2012. Jay was born in 2011. Yeah, so 2012. I had moved in with her in Florida.
And she weaponizes
I was there
this.
maybe.
So right here, she talks about how she has images where, you know, they took pictures and everybody looks happy and kumbaya. So this is what Lynette wants to use to disprove. It's the same thing as the quote unquote airport pictures. You know, the ones that they were like, look at this with with Landon, and look at everybody in this. Everybody's happy. And then you find out there were police reports that had been noted about John. And, there's all this chaos and crazy going on behind the scenes where they're trying to get recordings from them. You find out it isn't this, campfire kumbaya you've been hearing about. It's something totally different. And they also asked us to actually cover that. Why aren't you covering this stuff? That's what Bruce, he's like, do you draw the line with this? Okay, so everything. Her own lawyer is like, cover everything. And then was like, don't cover everything later. But no, you don't get to put the genie back in the bottle. Same thing with Lynette, man. You don't get to do that. But anyway, let's continue. It just amazes me. Again, you hear these stories about these people from the people around them, and they don't care. They don't, when you have a person that's there, and it's said that, again, either Lynette is a massive liar, or it's one or the other, and either selection is bad.
Maybe. Maybe 2 months.
So you were there maybe 2 months.
I don't even remember how long, honestly. But at first, everything was good because they put on a real good front. Oh, we don't fight. That's one of the things she said. We don't fight, because I told her I don't want fighting around my kid. Point blank, period, done. No fighting around my kid.
Makes sense.
And she's like, oh yeah, we don't fight. We get along great. He's awesome. He's such a good guy, and da 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 da. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So I go down there and I stay with them. And first week or two, perfectly fine. We had fun. We went to the beach.
So they are the 2 weeks.
Well, we went to the beach.
So the 2 weeks are what, again, she said that she's going to put all these pictures out and stuff. So it's interesting. Have you ever been around people that you utterly despise even then? Have you ever taken a family picture with people that you're like, man, I hate this person. I absolutely hate this person. Or, as a concession to a friend, you're taking pictures with people that you're like, I utterly despise these folks, co-worker, whatever. And can you imagine that being used later as proof that you like them? Can you even, just nuts.
She, let me finish this first. Train of thought. About 2 weeks in, they started fighting and arguing all the time. And when I say fighting, I'm not talking about yelling like, oh, you're such a da-da. No, it was screaming at each other, back and forth, calling each other every name in the book for hours. Like hours. I had to take my son on walks to get out of the house and get him away from the fighting and the screaming, and I just couldn't. So I called she doesn't want to work on herself. She thinks she is God's gift from heaven. She believes that there is nothing wrong with her. She is the perfect person. She exhibits grace and hospitality. She's psychotic.
She's that word they
My
like to throw around.
ex-stepmother.
Narcissist.
And welcome. So if anybody doesn't follow What the Hales, hold on. How? They changed it again. Hold on. I can't comment on my own live anymore, I guess. So What the Hales, it's, hello, she is a narcissist. Yes, big time. Is anybody here from What the Hales page, can you comment their Facebook and their YouTube tag? I'm hoping.
Chicken.
Ma'am, you are not going back to the coop right now.
Chicken's like, what's up? What's up? What's up?
So it's what, like WHAT, the, and then HALE, and then the money sign is, yes, thank you, Kara. What the Hales? They are in what seems like a never-ending battle with my ex-stepmother.
You notice this too. She called it a never-ending battle 2 years ago. 2 years ago. That's how he said this stuff is so crazy because it has gone on forever and it has no sign of slowing down. You know, you still got court cases that are spawned from it. You still have all this insanity. And again, I'm totally okay with myself, you know, watching insanity. I'm okay with it. But again, I hate it for everyone else that has to deal with the stupid, you know? Because if you have to deal with it yourself, shoo, baby, it's nuts.
Most of them, pretty much all of them, know her as Lynette, L-I-E, lie, because she lies. Her full name is Lynette Michelle Lacey Alexis. And then whatever last name she decides she wants to use for the week. She has plenty to choose from. Right now, I think she's using, my sister's dad's name, Preston, at the moment. Am I okay with What the Hales? Yes. I appreciate everything that Jeremy and George are trying to do. They're exposing her they're exposing all of her lies, and I am very grateful. When somebody messaged me, and at first I read it wrong. I feel so bad that I read it wrong because I was a little bit shitty. I apologize for language, but then I reread it and she was like, thank you. Yeah. The amount of names she has is ridiculous, but
it is wild. The first time I heard somebody comment on that,
so,
you know, when people brought up the names the first time, I really thought that was some kind of in joke, you know, with all the name thing. I actually thought that somebody was kidding around. And then, you know, they talked about like all the names and attachments. And then again, you know, I don't care that you live life to whatever fullest, you know, you do whatever in life. I don't care about that. But it's interesting because she's lied and said things like, well, I've never gone by Lacey, for example. And then you have, you know, messages of it popping up saying, yeah, hey, this is Lacey, you know, introducing herself, or hey, my name is, and I've never gone by this other name, Lynette. Just so bizarre. So to hear people, I like the perspective from these. You know, another thing that I could never really get from these folks. They're like, well, I don't like Jeremy Hales. Okay, so does that make this other person not these things because you don't like Jeremy Hales or you don't like myself or whomever, does that mean that all these people are liars because of that? I mean, do you sidle up to like a freaking person, again, I'm not talking about Lynette here, but some of these people, do you settle up to a person that has gone to prison for years for horrible stuff because you don't like somebody online? You think that they're too mean online? I've heard that. Well, people, they say mean things. I'm like, okay, well, what was meaner? A person who literally defrauds people and goes to prison, or mean words on the internet? Which one's worse to you? Which one's worse?
Completely lost my train of thought like 3 times now.
That's me, man. I do that all the time.
Sorry, there's a glare. Hair in a ponytail? Yeah, it's in a ponytail. Yes, Jeremy. Thank you. ADHD, and it is not to be messed with. I definitely appreciate everything that they have done so far, and the fact that they are exposing all of her lies, because squirrel brain, for years and years and years, oh my gosh, I have been trying to get people to understand the lies that this woman tells and the webs that she spins. And, it is very refreshing for someone to be able to point that out. Yes, my love. Oh, good. Thank you, my love. Welcome.
What amazes me too is that people heard this and their responses to some of them were like, oh, yeah, let's give this person tens of thousands of dollars, because reasons. It just, it blows my mind. No, they were like, yeah, we respect people having opinions about this, but sure you did. Sure you did. Oh, Lord. Anyway.
Appreciate everything George and Jeremy are doing. Definitely. But back to when I stayed there. After that screaming and fighting started happening, I told her, I was like, I'm not doing this. I will not have my son around this. I told you when we came here, I was not going to put up with it. So either you stop, you kick him out, or I'm gone. I'm taking my kid and we're gone. And fighting didn't stop. So I said, all right, I'm leaving. And actually, I don't think I even told her that I was leaving. I messaged my boyfriend at the time, who is now my husband. I messaged him. I was like, I have to get out of here. I have to. I cannot do this. I can't have this around my kid. Yeah, I can see right through her because I know I've lived it. Like, that was a big wasp. Jeez. But
so remember, these people are saying that people who have lived these experiences with him, they don't matter.
He came down. He picked me up. Me and my son. We left. I stayed in contact with her. A little bit, not a lot. She would call, I would ignore it. How much of your childhood is stuck with her? So she got with my dad when I was 5. And You give a 5-year-old little girl a mom after her mom has just been taken away from her. I was all for it. And she was, oh my God, she was the nicest. She would do my hair. She would, I can see if I can post this because it does save my live videos. So I can see if I can post it. I'll see if I can post it, and I'll either post it on, I don't know how I would do that. I could send it to Jeremy and I'll do that. I'll send it to Jeremy and he can share it, because at this point she already knows I'm speaking out. So come what may.
See, even then
She's going to make my life hell either way. So
see that.
I'll just have to put up with it.
That right there, too. You know, people get to the point. This is the anti thing that they run into. These people will make me miserable either way, so I might as well go public and talk about them. You know, how many people have you seen that happen with? You know, like, again, even I'm talking about people that, you know, initially tried to help these folks. You know, like, again, Shara, when she's like, hey, I'm walking away from these folks. Even just, I mean, you're just talking about just regular people that are like, hey, I want to walk away. They can't be allowed to walk away. They know. They're like, they're going to make my life miserable no matter what. They're going to try to make my life shitty. So I might as well talk about what they are. You know, so really, whose fault is it? Like, they blame everybody else. It's wild too, because they tried to take Ashley's word here, and they tried to say that her speaking out somehow that was Hale's fault. They still are trying that, and it's like, no. The stuff she's talking about, again, they can choose to believe or not believe anything there, but I think, you know, a lot of them, the problem they ran into was a lot of people found her very credible in what she said. You know, she doesn't come across as hateful or vindictive or manipulative, you know, and she made a handful of videos and then went back about life too. She didn't stick around, and, you know, she didn't do all these things that these people, they initially were trying to accuse her of. You know, they attacked, and they attacked her hard too. Like, they, again, right now they're in an awkward position where they're just trying to deflect this stuff coming up. But I will remember when she spoke up the first time. I will remember it, because this is when it came up, you know, we interviewed. I need to pull that stuff up too, because it was very good. It was very, I wonder what the right word is. It was very insightful, I guess is the right word for it. You know, when she talked about everything she had dealt with, you could see the reflection of current stuff in it. You know, it wasn't just like a reflection on the past. And again, it didn't come across. I like speaking to her and Samantha, because they didn't come across as the thing these folks try to make all of them. They didn't come across as, like I said, vindictive or, you know, wanting some kind of revenge or anything else. Just somebody talking about it, like, hey, I've had enough of these folks. You know, they absolutely, they want to ruin my life. Well, hey, you know, I'm not going to be silent anymore about who they are, because they shouldn't be able to do this to people. So anyway, let's continue.
I am mid Iowa. Thank you. So yeah, being a 5-year-old little girl, having someone come in and do your hair and, you know, put you in these cute little dresses and, you know, be a mom to you, I was all for it.
For sure.
And I don't know when that changed. I have blocked out a lot. I don't remember most of my childhood. I don't remember anything good.
That's sad, man. I'm sorry for that. Anybody that feels that way, man, I feel bad for people.
I see pictures and I'm like, I don't remember that. It looks like we had a really good time. I don't remember that. I don't remember really any good times with her. I have good memories with my sister. With, you know, my sister and I would go riding horses, and we worked with horses with our neighbor, and, you know, we went to horse sales, and, you know, her and I, we had a lot of fun together. We did a lot of stuff together. My sister practically raised me. Lacey, Michelle, Lynette, whatever. She likes to claim she raised me. She did not. She was either working or sent me out to do chores. That's pretty much all she did. She didn't do anything. The chores were put on me. I had to feed animals. I had to clean the house. I had to clean her bedroom and her bathroom.
No,
and
that's interesting
bathroom.
too, because they talk about, you know, the animals and stuff, how she's always raised animals and she's always done that. Did other people actually, were they doing that? You know, I mean, it just makes you wonder, right? You know, was it her, or was it, I'm talking about Preston. Was it Preston that was taking care of everything, as she claimed? Or was it another person? You know? We may have time to go over one more of this, actually. Maybe not a whole one, but,
you know,
part of one.
She didn't do anything.
Just cuts off, you get another one. See, we should have time to, I think we'll have time to do part of the other one. Give me 1 second. It's good, actually. We won't have time to do it all. But, again, there are 3 parts to these. I think they're insightful to go over, you know? Let's do part 2. Again, if you have not heard tonight, by the way, there is a show that comes on after this show, and, well, they're going to have a special guest tonight, you know? I was like, well, huh. One of those I recognized. So stay tuned for that too. So that'll be something to be on time for as well. But
so it's been about a month, I think, since they were brought to my attention. Like I watched them a long time ago when they made the move to Ohio. I watched their videos, but then as my brain does, it forgets. I forget things very easily. So I was brought back to them when somebody messaged me and said, hey, this is what's going on. You should probably talk to them. So I did. I wanted to keep my name out of it, but my name did get leaked in a video. It happens. I mean, at first I was super freaking mad. Caught myself there. Did you see that? I was really mad at first because then I got a message from Lynette. Both me and my sister did. And that is exactly what I did not want. I did not want her to be contacting me. But she did, and made all her usual threats and blah, 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 and yada, yada, and oh, you guys are lying. I can't believe you're lying.
Of course.
I'm going to prove all of your lies.
Look, like
and blah, blah, blah.
2 years ago. 2 years ago, she was doing the same thing. Isn't that interesting? I'm gonna prove all your lies. You know, isn't that interesting? So all that time, oh my God, John Cook put the banners up. He did it. Oh my God. Oh my God, they're up. Oh Lord. Lord help me. Lord help me. The banners are up. Give me a second. I gotta show you these. I'm sorry. Just give me a minute. This will be worth it. So John Cook did put them up. I've been laughing about him, saying that if they put the banners up, to be the most pathetic show. And guess what? They did it. Oh my God. I could not believe it. He did it. And he posted it, bragging about it. So again, 18 months. You know, they also said, you know, it's very telling too that the banner thing, they said they weren't hanging up these banners because as far as the banners go, the main donor, remember they blamed the main donor, saying the main donor was the reason to keep it down and all this stuff. Well, check this out. I got to show it to you real quick. Oh my God, I can't believe they did it. Oh, man, every day, instead of fixing this ratty ass fence, what do? They slap up banner. Maybe the banners will hold it in place. I'm not sure, but look at this. Oh my God, look. What this proves is too, they can never claim that they're just sitting around being victims of shit. They hung a sign up here that's aimed at Jeremy Hales. Again, they're trying to take a shot at Miyagi as well. Oh my God, it's so amazing. They're so out of content that they got to do this. Watch tonight. They're going to try to lead with this like it's some kind of win. All it is a reminder that these fuckers cannot pick up stuff like they used to. Look at, I mean, wow. Woo, what an own, baby. Is that supposed to be John Cook? Look at the fence, too. Look at this thing. It's, oh, God, look at the shape of it. Look at the shape of it. 18 months, though. And they refused to put these banners up all that time, despite people paying for them. The only reason they put them up now is to take shots at, like, Miyagi was one of their donors. Gave them money, paid for part of one of their legal fees, paid a nice little slice of it, in fact. There was a considerable amount of money that came from Miyagi. You know, talking about a grando right in there. And these people are, again, it's just amazing. Oh, you want to see it's really funny today? Like I posted this earlier. Check this out. Oh my God. Oh, I feel like it's Christmas, man. I feel like it is Christmas. Oh my gosh. Every day is Christmas around here. So earlier, I talked about an hour ago. This has just gone up. So it says around, actually it's had to be longer than that. How many hours? It only gives me an hour on that. Man, it's not up. Let me see. It said to be at least 3 hours ago. Yeah, there it goes. All right. Stupid freaking Facebook. All right, check this post out, which is so funny because I was just saying, Like, oh man, are they going to be desperate enough to do it? Look, John Cook talking banners from 18 months plus ago. I was like, they're so desperate for content, and I got you, Travis. I'm waiting to hear that. They're hung up. There was a typo here. They hung them up. If they do, it'll be the funniest, most desperate, stupid ever. God, I hope they do. And they did. Oh my God. It's like Christmas. Oh, Lord. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. I'm so amused. Oh, my God. I saw them last night. So, Allison, by the way, I'm going to give Allison credit here. They were talking about these last night again. I thought, oh, my God, they're going to hang that stupid things up. Which, again, is such an FU to all these people who done, because again, they wouldn't hang them up for 18 months. But now that they're trying to get a ho-ho on Travis, they'll do it. But not for you donors, man. Not for you donors. And because Miyagi is like, with these folks. And they're like, oh, yeah, take a shot at another donor, too. Good job there. Bravo, bro. Bravo, John. Bravo, Lynette. I am very amused today. Okay, let's go back to our video. Oh, God. Some days are really wonderful. These people are like an eternal punchline. They never stop. Oh, hey, Adair. I'm happy you live streamed today. My dad passed away in 2024. Father's Day is still a hard day for me. I feel like I'm listening to an old friend. Well, I appreciate that, brother. The person, I don't know how to say this right. My stepfather was very close to, was really a father to me. I had a mess of a father figure until I was right on an adult. And my mother married a guy named Wayne, and Wayne is a great guy. I really liked Wayne. Wayne, I had a severe distrust for any kind of paternal figure, but Wayne was patient about it, put up with shit from an adult, not from a kid, from an adult. I did not want to like him. And he ended up passing away. He's the reason that I filed bankruptcy twice. Like I said, I loved him. I thought he's a great guy, and again, I do all that in a heartbeat. But I mean, he struggled for 6 years, and it's been over a decade of that. And when I roll around today's like now, it's hard. There are days like today are hard still. So I hear you. But you know what? That's why we all get together and laugh at stupid people, because every day is brighter when you laugh at an idiot, That's the way I look at it. But yeah, I hear you. It's rough. The one thing that does help over time, it doesn't make the pain go away. Loss is loss. But one of the things is reconceptualizing. This helped me a little bit. You take the person that, when you lose a person, you focus on the loss, those end moments, that time, whether it's months or whatever, it's still, whether it's sudden, but you focus on the loss. Over time, remember why the loss is painful. The loss isn't painful because you lost somebody. It's because there was something to lose. And you go back and you look at those positives, those moments you shared. And you can kind of commemorate that person in those moments, So it doesn't make the pain better. Pain is pain. But it makes it more bearable, I think. But yeah, on top of that, I try to be on I mean, you know what, guys? I like being around y'all. Y'all are fun. We get to talk about stupid people. We can take a wrecking ball to like the awful human beings here, oftentimes, and it makes even bad days more bearable. You know, depending on what the bad day is, but it can make awful days bearable. So I appreciate you all on the other side of that too. You know, let's see. I think we can cover about probably 10 more minutes, and then I'll probably need to roll into super chats, you know, to make sure I'm timely and I'm on time to do my thing too. So
Never fucking ends with her. Freaking sorry. Anyways. Yeah, I've only been talking to them personally for about a month. Stop messing with the babies, Thor. You're such a butt. I have one chicken that's really super duper mean. Yeah. And that's what I said. I was like, you know, it happens. Hi, Bubby.
Chicken laugh.
So I don't know when it all changed from her being the brush your hair, paint your nails type of mom to the yelling and the screaming and the hitting type of mom.
And the hitting.
I don't remember when that changed.
You notice that came in there. You notice that word. It slipped right in there. And you see there's a telltale thing in that note. Something that's really easy to miss. It's not the word. It's how casually it came up. You know? It's like a footnote. Oh yeah, and the hitting. That's it's bad. That's why people want to silence you a lot of times, because they don't want that. They don't want that out. That's why she wanted to take again. There's a powerful story here. Her testimonial is it's something that, again, I think it resonates because I've heard a lot of people speak. And again, you know, I am not a person that just sits down and listens to people. If you listen to my content, you know, I don't see a point in saying, well, that person is or isn't, you know, being truthful typically, but I don't just buy an accusation wholesale. When I've seen these people, listen to them myself. So I hear a lot of what's in there, and I'm like, yeah, you know, you can register the truth. You can also listen to a person and just feel, you know, who they are. What they, you know, she also, after she talked about this, Lynette said one of her attacks on her was to say that she was out here and she wanted like fame and all this other shit, right? She didn't sit online and try to capitalize off of any of this. She just went about her life, you know? And I mean this in the best of ways. I thought about them a couple of months back before this happened, you know? Because I was going over it. I was reorganizing a bunch of the notes and the evidence that I picked up over the years, and it made me think of them. But I hadn't thought about them in a long time, and I mean that in the best of ways, because they were out living their own life. You know, I mean, again, as somebody covering this, that's one thing. You know, you can do that, but as somebody that is bogged down in the past, you know, you can talk about something and then you can try to move forward, or you can get stuck in it. And I'm glad for her that she didn't get trapped in that place, because getting trapped in that place it's painful. And a lot of people's lives are stuck, you know, they're in the past, and it's not a fault of their own. Awful things happen to people, and some people can't get past it. And I'm always proud for a person when they can move beyond it, because it's difficult. Awful that, man, I tell you, as a young adult, man, I had so much rage inside of me. I remember that. I was volatile. I had a lot of rage from things, and it took me many years to be better, I suppose, be a better person and let go of things. And it's always good to see somebody when they've managed to do that, because it is not easy. All these words, like these textbook words and shit we hear about what people should or shouldn't do. Yeah, easy to say, hard to live. Very hard to live. So anyway, let's continue.
I don't remember. But I do know when it got really bad. It was in high school. I mean, I would go to school with bruises on me all the time. Not a big difference from the usual. I was able to hide them. I wore jeans all the time. I blamed it on animals, or I blamed it on the fence, or I fell down while I was doing something, and blah, 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 blah. Somebody's comment did not come through. So,
see why you want to take
whoever you were that just commented, try to change it around.
Again, we hear the anger. We hear all this stuff. We have that. Again, why in the world? The antis. They certainly, they know Lynette has lied about that. Again, she's lied about, her stories change all the time. Like you can pick out things that she's not being truthful about. Again, she's either lying about, I think the John Cook thing is such an easy thing to bring up, not to even really to bring up John Cook, but to rather say, either, again, she is lying about John Cook, and that's bad, or she is telling the truth about John Cook, and that's bad. Either one is bad. But instead, these jackasses will sit around and they'll be like, "Boo, look at these signs we put up on the fence." Like they're winning in life or something. They'll prop up some of the worst people that I've ever freaking ran across in my life. Some of these people are awful. And they'll act like that's a win. And they never once ask themselves about what the human toll is for any of this kind of stuff. They sit around, pissing and moaning about like the victim narrative after years of going after people, years. That's because they feel like they're on the downslide now. They don't feel like they're winning anymore. It's just crazy. Anyway. God, that makes me mad to hear.
But yeah, I would,
See, the anti said, well, it's just like that bullshit that they pulled about, chat drama with other stuff, right? Well, this is just an issue it's a family issue. If you're out there pumping money into this, then it ain't just that. If you're propping up people and saying that they're the greatest thing since sliced bread, it ain't just a little drama. I mean, there's some very serious allegations that come up in this stuff. Very serious. And just to throw them to the side and be like, well, those videos, they're too, it doesn't change it. It doesn't change it at all. You're telling me everybody that has come out ever and said anything about these folks, they're all liars. That's what I hear. All of them are liars, right? I mean, what's amazing is they want to silence her by saying that if she doesn't take down her own statements about this, that they're going to sue. Well, I hate to break it to you, Lynette, but that will not only not go anywhere, but it will magnify it to an audience like you've never seen. Oh, you'll get eyes on it for sure. And it won't go the way you think it'll go. I feel like, and I note this because, again, I feel like we give these people good advice all the time, and none of them ever listen to us. So, I mean, they always take the opposite. So, okay. But I still, and I also don't want them to have to deal with that from it. But they never take good advice. They're never like, okay, maybe I won't do this. Maybe I won't threaten this person and motivate them into to really talking about me. Really, going out and revealing more. The other thing Lynette hasn't thought about is while she's been away, I'm sure she's had plenty of time to formulate her thoughts about all of this and anything that she didn't think about the last time that she talked about it. So maybe you shouldn't motivate that person. Now, again, these things should matter because, I mean, who exactly, like I said, Lynette has raised enough red flags about Cook. There are red flags raised here. At some point, people should be like, well, again, I'm not telling you who to or not to believe in it either. But I'm telling you that when I listen to this, I find what she's stating through her, just her mannerisms and the way that she talks about this and the way that she's willing to answer whatever. I find a lot of what she's doing, it comes across as very credible. Very credible. For me, it comes across as credible. And that has nothing to do with Lynette either. If I thought that she was lying about Lynette, I would note that. I haven't been one to keep my mouth shut about those kind of ideas. Some people do not like you stating that. But if I feel like somebody's a liar, I note that they're a liar. I think so. And I do not think that she is a liar here. Like I said, that has nothing to do with Lynette. That has everything to do with the person speaking, And with that being, with what she says being, credible, that's its own problem. And when I say this, again, I will note each time, don't contact any of these idiots. Let them continue to make fucking public fools of themselves and, continue to act stupid and continue to motivate people to speak up and out, I mean, think about all the people they motivated. But anyway, I'm looking at the time. I guess I better read super chats or we'll run out of time. I know me. We will pick this up though. Okay. We're not very far into part 2, but I really like hearing what she has to say there. I thought about going through all 3 of them today, but I thought, see, I told you there's so much stuff that's been going on. It's hard to fit it all into live stream. I live stream it every day. I live stream every freaking day. And I put in multiple times, like, to be honest, you could sit down and just take the fence stuff that we talked about and talked about that, put it together and talk about it for a freaking few hours. We put all this stuff into it. There's still outstanding documents, more outstanding, stupid. I think that, again, the videos have become meaningful. But more than that, like I said, I thought today would be a good day to spend with you guys. And man, around 1,600 people on a day like today. Thank you all. Thank you for being here too. Appreciate you. Let me make sure of something, and then we will hit super chats. Give me 1 second. All right, here we go. Fan Addict, what's up, Fan Addict? Appreciate you there. Thanks for the vibe. Happy Father's Day, Tug. Please have Jay on more often as a guest co-host. You guys are great together. Yeah, I enjoy having Jay on. So goofy. What's funny though, again, I think I was a little bit more crazy than he was. You know what I mean? Like, that's the funny part of it. Yeah. People were always like, he needs a handler. I was like, man, I think I was a little more off the rails last night than he was. It was a lot of fun last night. It was good. If you did not watch last night, you definitely should. That was a good one. We did hit the topic too, which is a very interesting thing. When I have on Jay or Coop, Shizzy, depends. But normally I'll go over some documents or something when he's on too. But like Coop or Jay, I usually hit, goofing off and talking and having fun. I don't know. I mean, I have fun with Shizzy, but usually I keep the topic on there. But with Jay especially, I get way derailed because I start goofing off a lot. And Mr. Coop too. Like I said, I get goofing off with him and just talking about stuff. Different types of derailment. I enjoy both of them there. But last night we actually went over what I said we'd go over. I was kind of stunned by the whole thing. When I got to the end, I was like, wow, we actually did hit the topic today. I cannot believe that happened. But anyway, it was fun. So KT, thank you for the 19 months. Hey, happy Father's Day to you, Tug. Hope you and the Tuglets had a wonderful. I did. The kiddos, I got a flashlight from the little one, which she was so proud of. She went with my mom and got that on her own. She got this, which I love little like knick-knack items, like useful items. And she found a tiny little flashlight that is 1,000 lumens, which is a bright flashlight, right? But it fits on my keychain. So she was so proud of it. She's like, she even gave it to me a day early because she was so proud of it. It was so cute just watching her because again, she was just so proud of it. And she actually, the funny thing is, she worked for that too. She saved some. So when she was with her Gigi, she told her to set aside candy money when she had gone out, to set aside some of it to get Dad something. And I thought that was really cute of her too. She didn't have to do that, but she did. She actually set aside like money, and she set aside some tooth fairy money, where she lost a tooth. So she'd been really, out there, really excitable about having that, but she spent it on Dad. I thought that was nice of her. Was a good kid. So thank you too. Emmett, thanks for the 10. Hey, happy Father's Day, Tuck. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Happy Father's Day. Again, I know some people don't like this statement, but I think it is a happy Parents' Day. I think all you parents out there, it's the same thing with Mother's Day. I realize it's a day to celebrate fathers, but you know what? I think of them as parent days. So all of you take a bow. We have enough. We have enough parental need out there in the world that any of you have taken care, or maybe kids are grown still, take a bow. If you did a good job with that, it, man, it's a great feeling. Thank you too, Denny. Again, love your name. Appreciate you. Nick is nocturnal. Oh, Nikki, my bad. See, look, every time I stop at Nick, my brain, I'm sorry. I hate that. And I catch it every time after. I'm like, no. Sorry, Nikki is nocturnal. I don't know why. My mind doesn't get the two eyes for some reason. At least I can be counted on to do that every time. Oh, I appreciate you, by the way, Nikki, as a nocturnal lordy. You'd think one time I'd get it right, But then again, I think Rio Rai is the perfect example. I still can't get them right. Nikki is nocturnal. Thanks for the 39 months there. Thank you. Finally cut alive. Woohoo! Morning Tug and chat from South Australia. That's awesome, by the way. Yeah, I love being able to have an earlier stream too. You know, that's why I also like to have these Sunday streams. That way we can broadcast worldwide, baby. Worldwide. I love it. What's up, Stacy? Dropping the 5 giftos again, baby. Love it. Thank you for that, by the way. Giftos are the greatest freaking thing. Gifted memberships, they're beautiful because they not only support the channel, but they also tell other people, hey, you're part of the party too. And I love that freaking notion. I love it. I do. I love it. So thank you. 2012, thanks for the 2. First Father's Day with no dad. Thanks, bro, Tug. Hey, man. Love to you, brother. You know, 2012, man, been here forever, baby. You know, man, we share the good and we share the bad. We share afterward, you know. So I appreciate you, my friend. I really do. You know, it's the same way, too. Again, all you folks that have been around here a long time, like I had some rough goes, and you guys are here for me. Thank you. Mel, thank you for that gifted membership. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for the membership. Welcome to Dogs. Whoever got that. I needed to say it. I'm sorry. I just had to do with the membership thing. But I love it. Thank you, Mel. That's awesome. 2012. Thanks for the 2. I'm gonna laugh at Megan in Dixon Super Kids. That will be funny. Like she'll have no idea why you know, people are bringing up that. Actually, she will. But it's funny when people say that. If you missed the message that led to that, by the way, you really missed out on something. So Lynette typoed something the other day, and when she did it, she, instead of putting chance, she put the word dick in a sentence. It is the most amazing thing I've ever seen because it's just how it happens, how she tries to deflect. But if you see people that are saying that instead of the word chance, they put the word dick, you know why? You know, it's the weirdest thing ever. It is funny. Lynette Bumston Esquire, thanks for the 10. Hey, Tuck, there's a channel named they're stealing your content. It's not letting me link it, though. Well, if they're putting up my entire content, that would be a problem. If they're doing clips or whatever, that's not a problem, though. You know, just clips or whatever. If they're doing entire streams or something, that's one thing. But if they're like clipping or whatever, it doesn't matter. You guys can clip. I don't care. Just remember that. Like these people, when the antis talk about fair use, they're wrong about it. They are wrong in so many ways. So, you know, unless, like, again, if it's somebody that's just taking whole, like, they don't have to, like, if you clip some statements from me or whatever, I don't care. You know, if you're clipping part of the channel. So, unless it's just very egregious. And I do appreciate you mentioning it too. My stance on it is, again, people have the fair use right to clip, to quote. You know, now, can you flag a person for it? Yes, you can. But they are protected under fair use. They can also come back and sue you. So that's where these idiots are so wrong about what they do. But I am curious. Now, you know, I am curious about that, though. Sister Sal, thanks for the 5 gifted memberships. Thank you, Sister Sal. It is beautiful to see you, too. Man, some of y'all, I love seeing y'all. I do. Thank you. Hey, what's up, Venom? Thanks for the 2. Spill the beans. I did, indeed. Happy Father's Day to the Tug father. Indeed. That sounds so terrible. I guess that... I guess it doesn't sound... Well, I don't know. I'm not getting into the semantics of that. That's what I say about people that try to insult me online, though. I'm like, you know what? Just the name that I allow to sit around, you know, TUG. I've known people that get embarrassed just saying that. They're like, I don't know if I should call someone. How do you make fun of people like that? You know, you don't. It doesn't work. It's so funny. Thank you. Andre, thanks for the 2. Happy Father's Day, Tug. Thank you. And to all fathers, indeed. Indeed. like I said, I think it even goes beyond that. I think it goes to all parents, just period. I think you should have a Parents' Day. I'm not saying we shouldn't have a Mother or Father's Day. I like the idea. All you mothers out there, celebrated. Hey, baby. Don't call me that.
Don't call you Tug, though.
Yeah, she's like, hey, Tug.
Right?
Do you hear her?
Yeah, but
You call me Dad, and that's the other 3-letter word. Only you and Sissy can call me Dad, you know. You crazy fool.
I do call you Bug Guy, but you're not live streaming too.
I am live streaming right now, though. I know you do call me that sometimes when I'm not live streaming, you know.
I do call you Tug sometimes too.
You do. Craziness. All right, I go. Let me finish these though. I gotta finish them.
Can you tuck me in?
And I'll come up there, tuck you in real fast, and then I gotta jump on another show. So you,
Okay.
go. Okay, love you. SF, thanks for the 2. You and Jay gonna be on with this? Yeah, you got it there, but no. me and Megalodonus. That's funny though. Me and Jay. Yep, that would be hilarious. Oh man. Jack's mom, thanks for 5. It's my first Father's Day without my dad. I miss him lots. This is a way to get my mind elsewhere. Happy Father's Day to all the dads. Indeed. I'm glad to have you here. You know, we never really. I hope in life. I hope everybody gets the chance to tell the people that they love them enough before they're gone. You know. Because when they're gone, you realize how much you really love specific people in your life, you know. And I'm glad you guys are here, you know. Again, appreciate you. Is that another language there? Fallen Hero, thank you for the 20 there. Hello, everyone. I have no idea what this is. So I don't even know. Like the problem is, you know, I don't want to be disrespectful in the language, but for me, if I were to try to translate, it'd be like squiggle. I don't know what it says. So appreciate you, man. That's funny. Hey, what's up, Honey Winch? Thanks for the 19 months. Hey there, indeed. Appreciate you, by the way. Love it. What's up, Something to Bark About? Drop 5 gift notes. Appreciate you, Something to Bark. Oh, yeah. Hey, and a 20 there. Happy Father's Day, Tug. Love the way you speak to your girls. Love comes through the channel. Well, thank you. Yeah. You know, I try to really show them, again, what a good parent. You know, Ashley was talking about breaking bad cycles. And I guess I don't want to make it sound like my mom was very good. So, you know, she was a really good parent, but you know, I had my share of the other side too. And, you know, with that, it showed me not what I don't want to be. And I try my damnedest not to be. You know, that's why I try to talk to the girls, just calm. And if I do get angry or annoyed, I tell them to go away, to leave the room, to go away, go somewhere else, be away from me, and till I can calm down, you know. Like, even if I think a feeling that a lot of parents have is when they're mad about something else, they will be around kids or whomever. And for me, that's also when I tell, like, if I'm mad at them for doing something, before I punish them or get onto them, I try to make sure I'm calm, you know. Now, I think a lot of parents don't, you know, they let themselves be angry, but also they let themselves be angry about the world at large. They bring it into their homes, and it's not really a person's, you know, you don't mean to, it happens. I mean, we're human, we're fallible, and it's just something I try to be cognizant of. Always be there. Thanks. I got 865. Again, something to bark about. Everybody, keep moving to something to bark about. If we can get 10 people over there a day, we'd have them in no time. Look, almost 900 people. Go to 875. 10 people, 875. That'd be amazing. So we're going to meet the lung doctor Thursday. get ready for surgery to remove the spot. Yeah, well, everybody keep something to bark about in your prayers. And remember, we're here for you. You know, when you're on the mend, hang out, goof off, you know, just enjoy yourself in the aftermath. And we'll definitely, like I said, we'll keep your thoughts and prayers, uplift you there. Love to you. And thanks for the 10 months there. Happy Father's Day, Tug, and all fathers out there. That's right. Thank you for stepping up and putting in the effort to give the next generation a good start. Indeed. Indeed. I mean, good parent, you don't realize how important that is until you see some of the kids out there. You know, you can really see the ones that are damaged, and a lot of them through no fault of their own. That's the sad part too, you know. So thank you there. Palamapagas. Thanks for the bye. Please check email tomorrow. Sending you and Fox Mama. Oh, spelunking. I will check out for that. That'll be funny. Oh, I can't wait. Puzzler. What's up? Thanks for the 17 months. I recall you encouraging LP to do a show online. Yeah. Could have success. Yeah. You didn't suggest using it to harp on the same old shit or attainment. No, she should put that stuff down. And, well, I mean, if she wants to be angry, like if she wants to be like, I hate that old Tug, he's a piece of garbage, whatever, do that if you want to. You know, the only problem is it will only work for so long. And I mean, you'll have some success with it at first. It just, you won't have the success that you think you will, you know, and going out and, I mean, opening the Pandora's box of family and stuff, that's also not smart. She makes bad choices, man. But now, I mean, I think she should definitely think about it, make better choices. But again, what do all of us know, right? I mean, she's always right. They're always right. So we're never going to be right in anything, you know? So we just let them screw up. And we do tell them, though. I try to be nice and to tell them that, hey, you're making a giant mistake. But, oh, wow. But yeah, a good show there. Hey, Adair, I read that, but love you again, my friend. I appreciate you, Adair. I'm glad you're here. Pandora, thanks for the 10. Happy Father's Day. 15 years. So I was able to hug my dad. Here's corny jokes. I'd give anything for another moment to say I love you and understand my childhood. Love you, Tuck. Yeah, I feel like that, man. You know, I think my granddad like that. My granddad, when I was a kid, he's the biggest, you know. He was tall anyway, but he seemed like a mountain, you know. And I'd give anything to be able to sit around and like hear about his war tales or his farming tales or just whatever, man. I really miss those. You know, you start to understand that too. When you get older, you really begin to understand all of those things that you kind of might take for granted. That's what I tell my kids now. I'm like, love your grandma, you know, enjoy her. She's a great person, you know, and embrace those days. Because God, I wish, you know, we should have them back. Never regret. So yeah. Quad State, what's up? Thanks for the tune there. Happy Father's Day to all. Heck yeah. Thank you for that too. You know, like I said, I love it. I love that there is a day to celebrate being parents. You know, I love it. Professor Puzzler likes to. Crazy Jay's infectious in more ways than one. It's true. That is funny. Jay's a lot of fun to goof off with. As I've said many times, he reminds me of a guy, Cecil. He used to go by diversity, inclusion, and compassion with comics, and or you know, he used to do, or Dick. That's what he was. He would do the Dick show, and it was really funny because a lot of people would not get the humor, and you either loved it or you hated it. And I don't know. It just reminds me of him so much. Let's see. Quad State. Oh, hi. Oh, man, you recently had a birthday. Well, not only the happy Father's Day, but
Happy birthday.
That's
From
all of
us to you.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. I love it.
May all your dreams come true. Happy birthday.
Happy freaking birthday, man.
We love to have you here. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Here's to another year.
Love it. Appreciate it too. And what's up, Ketchup? Appreciate you. Man, you know, I would have invited you on last night too. I just got in a hurry. It's funny, with everything, like with sickness and everything, I talked to Jay 2 weeks before and lined up, and having Jay on is a lot of fun. So I had totally spaced it. And Jay messaged me just out of the blue and was just trying to find out. He's like, hey, you know, am I still coming on tonight? I was like, oh no, I forgot. I forgot to put him in the title or anything. I wish I would have. I felt bad about it because I totally spaced him. I was like, dude, you know, and it's not that. I felt bad because you know, it was like, you know, with a guest, I don't want them to have to ask. But I just totally forgot. Now I always tell my guests to remind me because I might forget, but still, they're like, oh no, I forgot about poor Jay. But catch up, man. If I would have thought about it, I had you on too. Because I enjoyed it when you were on last time. It was a lot of fun. Well, you're right. Thanks to is Megan. She put a clip from last night. Actually, I think has been a few people is what it is. I think that might be that is. But you never know too. It could be anybody. And like I said, I don't really care if people are clipping. Here's the thing. Even if you're taking a whole live stream, if you hit me up about it, I probably don't care. There's so many people that used to archive live streams or do this or do that. You know, I've had where I used to pull down live streams. You know, I used to pull them all down, and there were people that would, you know, they would make sure that other people saw them, and that I do appreciate that. So usually, and again, I do appreciate people noting that. But it's funny. Like I heard Miltoast whining and being like, "Oh, those guys. The reason I made a new channel is so they won't crop." And I was like, "Man, I don't have a problem with striking people. You know, I think you shouldn't lie about that kind of stuff. You know, I don't think if I were striking, they're how would I put this? These people." They love false striking and then playing the victim, I guess is probably the best way of putting it. So it's really funny. And they endorse the shit out of it, you know, including him. He endorses the shit out of false striking people. But it's funny too. He's like, I'm the victim. I want to be left alone. And then makes a new channel just so he can cover more of this stuff. These people, they're funny. They are. They're clowns in their own right. I love it. I absolutely love it. Give me a minute. Checking on something here. Oh my God, they added more banners. I love the oh, that's a funny fake banner one. I'll have to pull that up later. Hey girl, what you doing? Hey, I'm almost done. I got 3 more.
Oh.
Okay. Let me finish. And then I'll come take you in, okay? Here, go. Feel like it. Did you step on a Lego or something?
No, it's right here hurts.
It hurts.
Yeah, it did yesterday.
Oh my
I
goodness.
was flying down the stairs.
Oh, you hit it on the steps? Is that what happened?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
When I checked up, it looked reddish.
Oh my gosh. Do I need to take you to the hospital? What are you covering my mouth for?
Have you laid on the stream?
What? You're the one who brought it up. You want me to amputate it? We can get you like a pirate leg. Get you one of those little posty pirate legs. What are you covering my mouth for?
Don't do that.
You don't want me to talk about that?
No,
You can have a little peg leg. We can call you, you know. we can call you Peggy Rain. All right, hey, let me finish this though.
Okay, take a bite.
All right.
Yeah, you actually got 3 more?
Yeah. 3 more. Actually, 2 more now. No, 3. It's right. 3, I see it. All right, love you. Close the door. Her middle name is Rain. Or a Y-N-E. That's why I make a joke. Like, you know, pig leg. Call her Pig Rain. It's usually one of our ongoing jokes. I'll call her something Rain, you know. It's so funny. Rewrite. Thanks for the tip. This Megan. Yeah, I got that one. Thank you. Pandora. Thanks for 11 months. Almost there, man. Please pray for father-in-law. 94. I'm going to heart surgery tomorrow. Worried about him for sure. I loved you. Keep him in our prayers for sure. Everybody. That, and yeah, for sure. Love to him too. Love to you guys too with that. I know it's stressful there. Yeah. Puzzler, thanks for the tear. All we're saying is give peace to Richard. I knew this guy who would say that totally wrong. I mean, there was a guy named Richard. He used to call himself Dick. And I would ask him. I always thought his answer was funny because it was factually correct, but just the wording. It's like, why do you call yourself Dick? He's like, because Dick is short for Richard. I'm like, well, that's like a personal problem, you know. Anyway. Oh man, Andre, I'm gonna tell her. She'll be excited. She like got some candy money. Let me put in my redirect too, real quick. And yeah, then I'm gonna get set up. Because again, I'm going over to what the hell's not myself. That should be fun. We'll just be goofing off. You know. Yes, we will have a point too, but we will also just be goofing off. I think it'll be fun. I haven't been on a stream over there in a minute, so I think it'll be good. It's a perfect day for it too. Father's Day is a perfect day for it. We can hang out, just have a good one. Give me a minute. Let me set my redirect. What the hell? Oh yeah, we got some lips coverage. So I'm gonna let you get situated. I'm gonna do my redirect, and again, I'll be over there pretty soon. But I appreciate you folks. We'll be over with Megan tomorrow. Yeah. Thank you for hanging out. Happy Father's Day again. All of you out there. Love you.